White Stripes. That's a little Stanley motivation for us today. It is the Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Oh, hi.
And it is in the business as they go midweek, a little hump day, a little Wednesday. You know, we've been busting our ass all week. We're ready to get over that hump and get into the next place. The hump day hump.
Do the hump.
That's your guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you ever make another song, or is that it for him?
You know, he did some things, but that was really it. That was the big one.
That's the big one. You're not going to be able to beat that. That's your wild thing, my
right.
friend. Okay? That's your radar love. Just enjoy it, breathe with it, and just keep it there for the rest of your life. All right, it is the Bennington Show. A lot going on today, but I have to tell you, this thing of starting on a Wednesday and ending on a Friday, I think it could be the future for a lot of folks out there.
It's pretty sweet.
It is. It's a nice deal.
If we all just agreed to work this way.
Well, that's how I always feel about getting up in the morning. No one really needs to get up in the morning until one asshole does and opens up his store. Like, you know what? I could be first. And that sets off just a chain reaction of people overworking all around the world.
And then they're like, we should open our shop so those people can have coffee. Oh, God.
Yeah. I would like to, it's true. I like the fact of, like, if you have one of those societies that just believe in midday nappings.
Yes.
That believe that school should be off the second the surf goes up. There's some societies out there that work.
I think we could use a siesta.
Siesta is actually even a better name than if we just called it nap time, because that makes people feel weird about themselves. But a siesta seems like, yeah, you should.
Yes, it's time to siesta.
Yeah. They used to even do it in Key West. Because it was so goddamn hot that who the hell would want to work? And then the air conditioning made people think, you know what? We need to work. We got this air conditioning.
I think we could at least agree to a 4-day work week. At least.
Yeah, I think that's easy enough going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you could take the other 3 day. What about this? You can work 3 days or you can work 4 days. You either work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then you get 4 days off, or you work during the week and then you get the weekends off.
That's tempting, because nothing's better than having a day off during the week when everyone else is bustling around.
Well, that's why a lot of people like the late shift, doing the third shift, the skank shift, as they call it.
Sure.
Because you can sleep while others. And I've worked third shifts before, and I would be driving home exhausted, ready to have my second breakfast of the day. And I'd be like, look at these dumb suckers on their way to work.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, why in no time at all, I'll be checking out Price's Rat. You have to commit to a lot of bad TV if you work the overnight, you know?
And then I think you really don't ever perfectly adjust, because there is something weird about sleeping during the day. So I think sometimes, I know I've had late night shifts before. You kind of just end up sleeping less is usually what I did. Like, I would not sleep the normal amount of human time necessary.
You would sleep more or less?
Less time, because I'd be like, well, just bright out.
Well, here's the other thing. If you do work, that other people don't think you need to be sleeping.
Right.
They're like, oh, hey, do me a favor, help me move today. And that's like if someone said to you, I need you to come over to my house, move my couch at 2:30 in the morning. It's just crazy. It's just fucking crazy. But yeah. And you just, like, you'll hear people, you know, outside doing things, and they're so loud. I mean, you're not going to hear the kids playing in a ball game at 4 o'clock in the morning, but you might hear 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I struggled with that. Like, 8 a.m. construction was not great when you're a late night worker.
Well, in my neighborhood, the men used to work, when I was growing up, what was known as swing shift. And that means that you'd have a day, like a week of 7 to 3. Then the rest of then your next shift would be working 3 to 11 the following week. And then you would work 11 to 3 again. And then you would have a week off, right? And so they were always tired. And, me and my friends would be outside playing and shit. and someone's mother would come up, would you shut up? My husband is working night shift. And we'd be like, what the fuck's that got to do with us? That has nothing to do with us. We're not, this block is now on some kind of swing shift. Your husband is.
He made his bed.
Yeah. He's the one who wants to take that Scott Paper money, doing well for himself. Now all those plants are gone, so no one has to worry about it.
No one has to do it.
Just sleep all the fucking time. Worry about putting up aluminum siding as their job.
Right.
It's the Bennington Show, 866-766-0339. Chris Stanley is with us, keeping quiet today so far, but you've got a big announcement a little later on.
Yes, I have an announcement of the staff. It has finally been put through. Everything has been approved. Everything is cool. The new staff is ready to be announced.
Nice.
Now, the two people that I hope make it most of all.
Yeah.
Paulo and Shelby.
Right.
Those are the two.
That's who you're hoping for.
Yeah, that's who I'm hoping for.
Well, you're going to have to wait for later in the show to find out.
Okay. Somebody sent us a lovely new Bennington theme song.
There isn't, yep.
This is what I love about the listeners of this program. They always send us theme songs.
The creative types.
I wouldn't say that because I've heard the songs, but at least they'd know how to do this. Press send and send it to us. All right, let's take a listen.
Stop playing.
Okay. Someone wrote this into you. What was the name of that opening song? Apparently, I need to look into Jack White a little more.
That was Death
great.
Letter. That was Death Letter, and you should know that song.
And that's what, 15 years old now?
Yeah, that was off their second album.
Well, there's a piece out yesterday in the one of the many newspapers that's out there online. I believe it's on online newspapers. And Jack White said, basically this article could have been called Bad Stuff About Meg, because he didn't have a nice thing to say about Meg, including the fact that they will never play together again.
Ever. He said that she doesn't answer her phone, and that they said,
Maybe
hey,
you got an old number there, Jack.
Yeah.
she could have moved on by now. And that they asked, will you play the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame together if they induct you? He's like, nope, doubt it. He had nothing good to say about Meg.
That's heartbreaking.
I want the White Stripes to go back out on tour. And if Meg can't make it, I want one of those like little wind-up monkey things that just hit on a drum.
I'm kind of hoping to audition as Meg White.
You could be the new
Fingers
Meg
crossed. I kind of feel like I'm the Meg White of this show.
I kind of think that you are in an odd way. I'd be Jack White, and Stanley is some weird stalker who broke in and is going to try to stab us both to death.
God.
You guys are great.
Help!
I ever tell you how much I love the music.
I got news for you. I think Meg is going to do an interview where she's like, he made me sleep with his friends. I just know that there's
going to be something there.
Yeah.
Something terrible happened. Because if you watch that documentary, she was crying by the end of it. She was just like bawling, just crying.
Well, she did not want to do it. I think she loved Jack and nothing else. You know what I mean? Like she did what he asked to do, but she didn't want to. I think she just wanted to be with him. That's my own feeling. Yet there's never even video of them or a picture of them kissing or anything, right?
I've never seen them be.
I've never seen them be like intimate or act like a couple.
Because we were told they're brother and sister.
Right. That was the first rumor.
Yeah. And then man and wife, but I don't know if either is true.
Right. And then were they actually divorced while they were playing together? Was that the case?
Yeah, there was a thing where they were at least broke up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. When they really blew up, they were apart. They were divorced. Yeah. That's the story.
Now, I think that pretty much no one is cooler than Jack White. I will say that. Like he's the coolest dude.
In a weird cool way.
In a weird cool way. But something tells me he's not the easiest guy to deal with. Like I just get that impression that he has like difficult genius mind.
Yeah. Genius is a problem for Jack, you know? And I wouldn't, the thing, you want to be in a band with him, but then he's telling you that you're all dressing the same way. Or, you know what I mean? Like, that every little thing is a big deal.
Did you guys make the wardrobe yet?
Like, you've never had a good show. You know what I mean? Like,
Jack
you
picks
just
all
come
my
up,
clothes.
That was great. Was it? Because I thought it sucked balls.
You were supposed to be wearing a yellow tie.
We're all going to go back to the stage once the people even run this over again. Now, I made a guitar out of a 2x4 and an old belt, and I want to be able to play it better than Hendrix. You're just like, Jack.
We know,
Jack.
Jack.
Let's just go to Perkins Pancakes and get something to eat.
Jack, we haven't slept in 48 hours.
Well, you're on a swing shift. That's how it works.
There's swing shifts.
If you want to work for Scott Paper, and we do the Scott Paper of music, the White Stripes, that's what I'm talking about. Now, I've hired a midget to dress and look like me. I want everybody to call him Little Jack.
Wait,
It's just so that fucking weird genius is worse than any kind of like actual genius. You know, people who know Prince have to put up with it too, you know. It's like, you know, you're working for Prince, and I don't care where it is. Just someone shows up and goes like this, Prince needs you to eat your dry cereal. And, you know, everyone's like, what?
Get milk.
He wants everyone here to eat dry cereal.
But how do you eat this without milk?
Why aren't you standing in the bucket? Stand in the bucket when you're eating that. He is, but that's what you got to put up with, you know? And see, here's the thing. What is more important, being a nice person or being a brilliant person? Because I feel for somebody who has a genius mind and wants something to be good. Like, everyone's always been mad at, you know, Paul McCartney for, you know, like, Ringo would go take a shit and Paul would just overdub all the fucking drums, right? But see, Paul heard these songs in his head, right? He heard them. They were just downloaded from God into his brain. He hears it and he puts it together, and then it's not correct because he can hear Ringo drums on it.
Right.
It drives him fucking nuts, so he changes it. So again, what are you going to do?
I guess that mind is better for artist, entertainer, but not for life partner, perhaps. You like brilliant genius is a difficult partner to have, probably.
Yeah, so you're basically saying it's better to have mediocre, comfortable than brilliant and great.
Maybe for life, like dealing with people, but not for your entertainers. I think that's why so many entertainers get to do terrible things in their life, and then they're like, well, he wrote an incredible novel, so we're going to have to look past that.
It's worth putting up with their shit.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. Because we don't know how else to get the good shit.
Right.
It's like if you ever had a dealer and he has really great fucking coke, he ain't showing up on time. You know what I mean?
Doesn't have to.
He's not going to call you back.
Right.
You got to chase that motherfucker down.
But then when he gets there, he's probably going to hang out for an awkward amount of time.
Yeah, he's going to do something weird. He's going to make you listen to an album that you don't want to. You know what I mean? He's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go up and cut this. Take my dog for a walk. And then it's up to you. You know, like, yeah, you could shoot him dead. That's the fucking thing. But you're not going to be able to recreate what he's brought to it. And that's the thing. The genius people realize they got the good shit, and nothing matters but the good shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's not easy to be that dude either. Like, I don't think it's easy to be Prince. You know what I mean? It's got to be a tough thing to be Dylan. But to hang out with those guys, are you willing to pay the price?
If you were to go through and say, I'm going to take out every artist from my life, not support any artist who's ever done anything bad or treated anyone like shit or done something that is immoral, what would you even be left with to listen to or watch? Like nothing.
But I'll even take it further. How important is it to treat people well?
Right.
If you're getting to what the real essence is, if you had a guy who could figure out, you know, how to end poverty throughout the world, right? How to cure depression. You're not going to fucking put up with the fact that he doesn't do his own laundry or he's always leaving his fucking plate out. You know, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
They're making life better.
You watch these movies about artists, and it's always like, you know, their best friend since they were younger. And he's like, you know what? You've changed, Elvis. You used to be a good guy, but you changed. And Elvis is just sitting there wearing some crazy fucking get up, just weird glasses and shit. I was like, what are you talking about? That fucking dude, if you feel sorry because he yelled at a waitress and you're not feeling sorry for the guy who ended up in some white buckskin fucking suit with
Right.
weird fucking boots on and sleeping and all that dude puts up a lot too to get to the good shit.
Sure. He's a genius, but he has terrible phone etiquette. So he's out.
Carlos says, love Jack White's music, but as a person, he's just too weird for me. Joseph says, Ron is the Jack White and Pep is the Jack Off.
Ouch.
Christy agrees, more siestas.
They're the bestas.
It pushes everything back, like start eating dinner at 10 o'clock. 'Cause you had a nice
I'm already doing it.
long siesta.
Stephen Knight says, Shelby, Joe, and UCB. UCB, we can't even get into the building.
Banned for life.
Yeah.
If he comes anywhere near there.
We know 3 people that were and are our friends that are banned for life.
How many
from
deserved
this
it?
building. I mean, how many people that are here now should be banned for life? I would ban a lot of the bosses for life. That'd be my move.
And their pictures are in a book somewhere for security so that it can be identified on site. It's
Somewhere down
weird.
there on Whitehall Street, there's a file. My fingerprints are in there.
Detected, inspected, neglected.
And selected. You can get anything you want. Hi, everybody. I'm Marlo Guthrie. Now let's hit a restaurant. I like any impression where you have to tell people who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm David Steinberg. You have to go that far.
Right.
That you have to announce who you're doing.
So everyone can go, oh, yes, that does sound like him.
Yes, that's perfect.
That is how he says his own name.
That's what he does. That's what he does. I don't know if any of those people have ever said their own name. I don't think he's ever gone, hi, everybody, I'm Marlo Guthrie. My dad, Woody Guthrie. He wrote, This Land Is Your Land. Well, it's Thanksgiving, so I'm back with you now. Up on the iBank today, the Red Nose Day that we got all the people to put their red noses on. NBC announced they made $21 million with that.
I did think I was a big part of that with my red nose picture.
They said they are going to use that money to get even with some people who bothered them in high school.
Really?
Oh, it's for children.
They were a child. That's how they made the connection.
If you're interested, there's pictures of Chelsea Handler and her breast up there.
I am still interested in
No one will ever.
Chelsea Handler's breast.
Oh, and you can get tickets to the Comedy Central half-hour tapings in Boston free. Our buddy Brooks Whelan, Sam, Joe, Liza, a lot of our friends are out there making things happen. So go and check that out. And I don't know whether it works out whether you see 2 people in one night for that. It always seems to be in Boston for some reason.
Because they're half-hour specials, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably do a couple.
The way
couple
they did it last year was 2 people in a night. Yeah, and then the audience stays. And then the post is, to get tickets, the post is, get tickets to this year's Comedy Central half-hour tapings on the iBang.
Quite different from what I said.
Warning. Terrifying.
Yeah. Warning. Terrifying. What did I say wrong that had you?
Oh, no, I was just replugging it.
A replugging. All right.
You plug and then you replug.
Yeah.
And then I deplug it.
You know why you replug, right?
Why is
Because
that?
the initial plug did not work. It was so bad that it had to be replugged seconds later.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that.
If you are,
Sounds like
no
you're
problem.
saying that.
I have no problem with it.
I ain't saying that.
There's also tickets for me and Chelsea Handler. I think they're only $15 at the 92Y. 92Y.
Lisa Lampanelli.
Yeah, Lisa.
What did I say?
Chelsea Handler.
Chelsea. You can't
Well,
get
that'd be
Chelsea
fun. Yeah,
out
I
of your
got
mind.
Chelsea tits on my mind. Lisa Lampanelli somewhere right now just pissed off at me. Dropping the other F-bomb about me.
Well, maybe take your tits out.
Here's
certainly sticks with
an interesting one. The Pope says to us human beings, stop loving your pets so much. You love your pets too much.
I'm going to disagree with you, Popey. Can I
You
call you
can't.
Popey?
First of all, that's God on earth that you're disagreeing with. So by disagreeing with him, he's saying that we love our pets more than we love our poor humans. Now, here's an interesting thing. When you think about that, you will take a pet, you'll get him food, you'll walk out, you'll walk him around the block, and when he shits, you'll pick it up with a bag.
Mhm.
Would you do that for a homeless person?
No, but I like my dog's personality a lot more than most people's, I think. Is
Most
really-
homeless people.
Right.
You don't like the personality of a homeless person. But it is funny when you think about it. Why are we worried whether a dog eats or not, and we're not worried whether a person eats or not? If you were an alien species, you would come here and say they treat that species better than they treat their own.
That is true. I had a moment of clarity that kind of came from this same idea once that this was around Christmas. I had rescued a dog. There was a stray dog on the street, and I caught him, took him to a shelter. And then 2 days later, a homeless person came up to me and was telling me that they were hungry. And I was like, I can't not help this guy out because I just yesterday through rain, I chased a dog down and found him a home. So I had to buy the guy dinner. I felt bad.
Only out of your own guilt. of
Yeah, because I
helping
was
an animal.
I showed more care to a homeless dog than a homeless human. So I felt like I had to do something. I didn't continue to just start buying homeless
Did
people.
you find a place for him to live?
No, that seemed a lot
To get
more
him all his
difficult.
shots.
But
Was he spayed or neutered?
I got him fixed.
The other night I was at a super secret meeting to cure my addictions. So we're all sitting in there and a homeless dude comes in and he's sitting in the back and he's mumbling along with the speaker, which some people get frustrated with. Other people think, hey, that's all part of this same problem.
Sure.
He should be here. And then some people like myself find it to be just absolutely hysterical. So I'm just really enjoying it. A couple of people are like, yeah, that's right, man. You're welcome. Just sit there and chill. You want some coffee or cookie? Just chill out, though. Let him talk and blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing I know, he had jumped up, had taken a mop, and was mopping real hard underneath the chair as fast as he could. And he basically looked like he came out of a coal mine. It was one of the greatest things ever. And I'm like, I bet if we spent a little more time with homeless dudes, we'd probably like them a lot more.
They make him stop mopping, or they let him just do the whole place?
Somebody actually took him outside, let him out with a cigarette. Hey, you want a cigarette? Oh, man,
You want this,
can't
don't you?
smoke in here. We gotta go outside. But the mop thing was just fucking out of
Possessed
this.
him to do that.
Yeah. Who knows? I guess the same thing that possesses him to be in the position that he's in. He just got a feeling and just wanted to go to it.
They shouldn't be leaving mops around all over the place for homeless guys to be grabbing.
I do like that. I never really occurred to me that the doors are open and there are snacks. So, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm totally an addict. Let me get them treats.
Well, yeah. I know it's all part of
Yeah.
it. They have every right to be there. Sometimes they look at those dudes in all over. You got to say a prayer wherever you want a free lunch. You know what I mean? You're going to have to, while you're sitting there having some turkey at Thanksgiving.
Right.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, that's great. Because that, and that's what they do. It's like religious people are always taking medicine.
Yeah,
to
of
African
course.
shit.
It's the
You're
whole
just
idea of missionaries.
Yeah,
and
I do accept Christ. Could you just give me that needle in my arm so I could just feel a little better? I'm cramping up.
Polio's coming.
I totally believe that. Can I have some of that water?
Yeah.
I'm really thirsty.
So you guys got a lot of this in your country, huh?
Is that grain?
We don't have much at all. Although this tastes really good. It's wet. It's the wetness that tastes so good. Gets the inside of your mouth wet. So what are you saying, something about Jesus or something? What's he do?
Oh, he's going to save you. He's going to save you big time.
Yeah. Is there a juice or you just go straight water? A little flavoring in this would be amazing.
All we got is water. Now, will you listen to me about Christ?
Keep talking while I drink.
Okay.
You talk, I drink.
All right, so would you like a Bible?
I think. Well, first of all, I love the Westboro Baptists too. They're the best. There's a piece up on the Interbank today, and Chris is going to replug that in a second. But they tried to get mad at Ireland for allowing and voting for gay marriage, and ended up getting mad at the Ivory Coast because there is a problem out there. A lot of these countries, they're so dull with their flags. They just use 3 colors.
Right.
And any combination can go in any way. So these guys grab some Ivory Coast flags instead of Irish flags.
I thought that was like they're angry about the soccer team or something. We've always been our rivals.
Well, for some reason, they beat the hell out of us.
That's just precious, though. I hope they just stay just the way they are, the Westboro Baptist Church.
Well, they make the rest of us feel good about not going to church.
Sure.
You feel like a better person for just going like, hey, I would go to church, but look at how nutty those people are.
Right.
I feel like Shirley's due to put out another song soon. I feel like they haven't done one in a long time since like the Lady Gaga.
Well, they're still out there. We just don't have the contact with them we used to. Liz says this. I prefer animals to people every day of the week. People can fuck right off. And this guy says, my mic pops. And then someone else says, I think I missed the announcement. Is it Popcorn and Dana? Is that our 2 new people?
I like all these guesses.
They could be. They're all. Everyone's in the running. So you have to wait to listen. You have to wait to listen to who's going to be the new staff.
Anybody you're looking forward to, Gail, for new staff?
I don't know. It's tricky. I know a lot of people are thinking that's Shelby, but I still don't know.
The Shelbs.
People
loves the Shelbs.
ask me about him every day.
People keep asking me, where's your brother? Just a little live album stuff for you. Hey, Ezra. Ezra, we got you, buddy?
Yes, I'm there. Hey, Bennington's, just remember that we cut the nuts and the ovaries out of these animals so they can't reproduce. We also put them down when they're miserable. If we treated the homeless like this, we might be more nice to them in the meantime.
Well, the thing is, we have no real reason to cut the nuts off the homeless. It's not like they're out there having babies.
These damn homeless babies are killing me. They're taking up all the goddamn money.
Oh, I would love a homeless baby. Just they come by. You know what I'd probably do? Like buy like a little rattle or pacifier. So when I saw him, I go, I got something here for you too. You're teething, aren't you? Teething.
Give a little bindle.
A little bastard in a basket.
Bastard in a basket. That's you. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a big problem with that. But I do think people kind of dislike homeless people. And there's a big difference between actual homeless people and the fake homeless people.
Sure. I mean, but some of them, I don't know, some of them have a good con going. I don't have a problem with that either. Like, you know.
don't have a problem with a guy who has an apartment and goes out there and
No, not that. But I mean, like, everybody's got a gimmick on the train. You know, all those guys have a gimmick. I appreciate a good gimmick.
I just don't like the fact that they steal them from each other. If I see another sign for the United Negro Pizza Fund, I'm going to go fucking crazy. That's not yours, dude. And then the other thing I hate is I'll see like white people from Iowa see that and they'll be like, oh, honey, look, it's a funny sign. And I'm like, you feel like you're laughing at this dude, but you're the fucking joke right now.
And then there's the one that got really popular a few years ago. I need money from weed and beer.
Yeah. And that got repeated a lot. Like, I saw a few other dudes with that
I think you got to
gimmick.
Forget the sign. You got to either do a dance or sing a little song. There's got to be some entertainment involved.
I mean, there's a guy right down the block who dresses up in a garbage bag, and then I see him at the end of the night, and he has clothes, and he takes his shoes off for the gimmick, and then he has shoes on. He's dressed fine. He racks up cash every day.
That's why when people ask me, yeah, but what kind of cash?
He has like a big bag of change by the end of the night.
Yeah, a big bag of change. What kind of job would you work for a big bag of change? You know what I mean? Like, what does that big bag of change come down to? $32?
Possibly.
To sit outside? That's fucking, $4 an hour.
I saw one of these small news things where it was like almost like a scams and flams kind of thing, and they followed a homeless woman, or she was playing a homeless woman, and then they like follow her, and she gets picked up by a car.
Was she
she's dressed
crooked back?
What's that?
The one with the crooked
Oh
back?
yeah, exactly.
And she had a nice place in Queens.
But I kind of was like, who cares enough to follow this woman around and be like, your back is normal, isn't it?
It's the New York Post.
Right.
But it is annoying to people. It's
Right.
annoying to people to think I follow rules and other people don't. That's why we have always hated weed dealers, because their lives are so much better than ours that it drives us nuts.
Right.
They're smoking weed, they're listening to music, they're hanging out with their friends, and they're making money. Let's arrest them.
Right.
I think we arrest prostitutes for the same exact reason. Why should they get just to have sex all night?
It's not
and
fair.
Get money for it. I'm working.
They're loving life.
I'm
This
stuck in a
sucks.
cubicle. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is about that thing. I think it really does have to do more with us and how much we get fucking annoyed with things.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
know? I kind of feel like we're still pilgrims at the end of the day. We still want to blame our problems on another human being.
That's true. I mean, I don't know. What I think also is funny is sometimes your heart is more open to things like that, and other times you're closed. Sometimes it's like where you are. Sure.
Christmas, we want to make sure the homeless eat.
Sure. But I mean, even I'll be on the train and, someone will be walking down asking for money, and maybe they'll say something that kind of touches me, and I'll give them $1. And then like 5 minutes later, someone else gets on and he has a pretty good story too. And I'm just like, I can't give everyone $1. Like now I'm the idiot. So
Ladies and gentlemen, I need my money for medication. Bogosian did a bit on that, of how that same thing just keeps repeated time and time again. But I'll give you another example. So last night on the TV show America's Got Talent, which, by the way, should have a question mark at the end of it because we're never really sure.
America's Got Talent?
But there was a young man doing stand-up, and the young man had an incredible stutter, one that he wasn't born with. He had gotten smacked in the head, got a concussion, and then went home and went to sleep. Didn't get medical attention first. Something was wrong with his fucking voice box, blah, blah, blah. Now this kid has a stutter. So he comes out, and they tell his whole story. And then he comes out, and he does some stand-up. He does like 3 or 4 jokes. The jokes are really good, seriously good. Cute kid, sweet kid. Place goes bananas for him.
Yeah.
But let's face it, if that was just his material, we wouldn't go nuts. But we love a good backstory. We're crazy about a good backstory. So he got the Golden Buzzer, which I think means he gets a house in L.A. I don't know how it works out, but I think they fly him to L.A. and give him a home.
When I saw that headline, I was nervous because I don't watch the show, so I was worried that meant that he got gonged. And
It doesn't seem, I don't know whether the Golden Buzzer's ever even been used before.
Right.
I don't know anything about it.
I think they just made it up.
And that means, like, it doesn't matter what these other people say, you're moving on? Is that the thing?
Not
It's
only
like,
do you just not move on, you move all the way on to the live show.
oh,
Which
okay.
I think it means you're out of the quarterfinals, semifinals. You're basically a finalist.
Yeah.
Like, so if someone just gave a Golden Buzzer to the Mets and they went straight to the playoffs, imagine how crazy people would be going right now.
Right.
They'd be running through the streets.
How the hell does this happen?
We did it.
No,
We
you
got
didn't.
the Golden Buzzer.
You didn't do shit.
I don't know why he's on the other. We're in New York. Oh, I guess he's a Yankees
I'm a
fan.
Yankees fan, yeah.
Okay, now I'm got. So there is some logic to this bit. So, so he got it. But again, it's the same thing. We think he's a sweet kid.
Yeah.
He's on the verge of tears the whole time. But Howie was the one who gave him the Golden Buzzer. And the weird thing is, his act reminds me of young Howie.
Is that?
Yeah,
I was wondering.
wait. Remember when Howie used
Yeah.
to do that? Howie kind of used to work from a, like, my mind is going faster than my mouth
Yeah.
point of view. So it was very, very funny to see that happen that way.
He's super cute. And it's kind of amazing. The first joke that he gets off is so incredible because you don't think that he's going to be able to do it because
It's a
comedy
great joke,
is.
too.
Yeah, it's a great joke and it requires timing. So you're kind of thinking, I don't know how this is going to pan out. And to take someone by surprise when your pace is like that and you have a stutter is crazy.
All right, I wrote a joke for him too.
Okay.
Like he's going to do impressions, and his first is Roger Daltrey. See, I would just keep, I'd
There
stay
you
very
go.
close to the stutter bit as much
That's
as
your
I
gimmick.
can.
Go with it.
Yeah.
That's your thing.
That's your thing. Don't stop it now. What's the kid's name? Do we know?
Yeah, the kid's name is Drew Lynch.
Drew Lynch. Write his name down. He's going to be huge. He's going to be gigantic.
They should have made him at least compete some more. The Golden Buzzer thing's a bit much.
Well, other people are going to get the golden buzzer. He's not the only one.
All right.
Each one of the judges get, and I would call it the golden buzzer, and I would have a buzzard come down.
Some birds are going to attack you now, kid. Shield your eyes.
I wonder if Howie's going to feel like I did, though, because he used up his golden buzzer, like when I give $1. And you're like, oh, shit.
But
Someone's
he-
going to come out. They're going to be like, wheelchair bound. And damn it. I should have given him the buzzer.
Can I take my buzzer back from the stutterer? I did not know that this guy had spinal problems. That was coming out now.
Seems way worse.
Kick the stutter out of the building. Please.
I'm too generous.
I love when anybody could take something and like do that life judo thing and turn it around. So this guy gets this stutter thing going, and he goes like this: "What will I do with it? Stand-up comedy.
Right.
Who's not going to like me now?"
With this story, I'm due for the Golden Buzzer.
I don't even know at the time he knew about the buzzer.
This kid
yeah.
always knew about the buzzer.
I can't tell you how new the buzzer is. It's very, very new.
I'm sure he had some sort of inside source about the Golden Buzzer.
Gonna work that buzzer.
Yeah, this kid's working the buzzer the entire way.
I saw Howie was really confused about it.
He's like, I think this is how you do it.
I think you win now. Just give him everything we can.
Poofy said, didn't you guys used to talk about a homeless lady named Gladbag?
Yeah.
But Hicks kind of stole that story with his Gladbag thing, so that's the new one that we're doing now. We could use some homeless babies to feed the homeless. They're not going to eat those homeless babies.
No. Do not.
Well, if we fool them and you don't tell them it's babies.
Those are not for eating.
Yeah, I think we feel a little more sorry for the babies.
So do we feed the homeless adults to the babies?
Fletcher says the
Great
only
idea.
homeless people I really don't like are the ones with pets and the assholes in Union Square. The pet ones, they get more money by having a homeless pet.
Yeah,
They know
that's
what they're doing.
why they
Very
do it.
fucking helpful. It's good, to add to the act.
I saw
This dog.
I saw two dudes yesterday with dogs, and they were just fucking ranking in cash, and they were sleeping. People were just giving him money as these two dudes were passed out.
I don't like anybody who acts like they can't keep their head up. I think that you've got to be out there.
Yeah, you got to be selling.
Um,
But I think, I don't know, maybe when he's saying Union Square, he's talking about the crust punks, because usually those two go together. Like, those dudes always have, like, a dirty dog with them.
oh, so you're talking about American Dreads, like White Boy Dreads?
Yeah, it's like they look like they hop trains and stuff.
Yeah, then they're like, I need money to get out of town. Yeah, but you're just going to go to another town.
Yeah, and then you're
I
going to need
more money. When I lived in Florida, we used to get more homeless people in the fucking winter than in the summer, so they have some means of travel.
Yeah, hopping trains, hobo style.
Still?
I think so. I don't know what it
People still hop trains?
You think they'd get that down by now? They know
Hop
how
a plane. I mean, it's fucking it's
tricky,
the 90s.
but
It's the 90s.
just jump the fence onto the tarmac.
I saw two homeless guys playing Marry, Fuck, Kill, and I'm like, look, then you must have a phone somewhere. You're picking up on that.
that I'd give $1 to. These guys are highly entertaining.
Yeah, they are. There are some good ones. And I think they were just bringing up other homeless people.
It's no fun. I don't even know those homeless people. How do I get to play?
All right, you ever play Marry, Fuck, Kill before?
Yes.
You want to play with me
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Okay.
So it's marry, fuck, kill. You have to pick one that you would marry, one that you would fuck, one that you would kill.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
A bride, a vagina, and a convicted murderer. Marry, fuck, kill. Who would you take?
Okay.
Yeah.
The bride, I'm going to kill.
Okay, so you're not going. He's not going to bed.
He's confused.
Yeah. Doesn't get the bet. He won't get the bet.
You're supposed to marry a bride.
I was going to kill the vagina.
Oh, well, that's because you're gay, isn't it?
I was going to marry the convict.
I bet you were. We were talking about homeless people, but now even people who work, it's just as bad. They're showing these Silicon Valley guys who won't eat food anymore because it gets in the way of their coding. So they just have these fake food all day long.
What do you mean fake food? Like
They
what
have
kind?
like protein shakes.
It's a high protein shake. One of the big ones is called Soylent, and you just mix. It's powder.
Soylent Green.
It's just called
It's
Soylent.
people.
Yeah.
It's homeless people.
So
Spoiler alert, it's people.
they mix the powder with like water, and then they just drink this flavorless goo all day long instead of having meals because
Why is it flavorless?
I think that it's made that way because
Yeah, but throw some cinnamon in it.
Yeah, get a nice flavor. Here's my question. How much time? I mean, is it to save time? Is that the idea?
yeah.
Because how much time are you saving? Like, you could eat something and work at the same
Yeah, but then
time.
you're also digesting. But I will tell you this. This is a hack fucking news bit. Because it's one dude.
Yeah.
It's one fucking guy.
Yeah.
And they're acting like it's a craze, and then he gets to go viral for it.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah. Oh, there's another thing. Some of these kids are wearing their sunglasses upside down.
Really?
Tonight at 11.
I better start doing that.
There's no one doing this. If one guy's saying that he's doing it, and in a week and a half he's going to have a cheeseburger.
Exactly. This is not sustainable. Maybe somebody's doing it like a cleanse or something, but come on.
No, it's this Soylent stuff is created as an alternative to eating food, and it's on back
We've
order.
had that for years. There's been protein shakes for fucking 50 years.
With flavor.
Yeah. And people do those cleansing diets, but no one stays on it. You hit a point where you'll fucking drive past a Pizza Hut and dive through the window. This is bullshit.
No, these dudes are living on Soylent.
For how long are these dudes doing it?
They're living for weeks at a time. It's on their job. They're fucking drinking this shit.
Weeks at a time. Yes, I will admit that. I've heard people who've done a cleanse for that long. But you don't stay that way. We're not replacing food.
They'll never make it through the holidays.
You're on
Come
a
on.
liquid fucking diet, period. Axe. What, by the way, is there anything that looks duller than coding? You know, we always make it seem like those guys have a cool job, but it looks like the worst, dullest typing fucking job ever.
Although in movies they always make it look so like as though they're moving through physical space. Like
Right.
I always love that.
But
Like-
all they're doing is coming up with these lines.
Right.
Yeah.
Just over and over and over. And you're like, that looks like it's fucking awful.
They're doing it for 16 hours at a clip, and they're just banging Adderall and drinking Soylent, and that's all they're doing, just typing all day long. That's it. That's
You
the
won't
whole
get
day.
off this story.
He loves Soylent.
Yeah. And again, we're not impressed with people who fucking eat speed at work. That's been around as long as we've had a post office. There's nothing new about this. It's fucking craziness. Coming up a little bit, we're going to announce the new staff, and they will get their Bennington show uniforms. Is there going to be a hazing that takes place?
I hope so.
I was planning on it.
EH says, I don't understand homeless people in cold climates. If I were homeless, I'd be in L.A. Well, you got to change your thinking. You got to be in a city to be homeless.
You need foot traffic.
You got to have foot traffic. So, yeah, you could be on a boardwalk at a beach.
Sure.
You know, but you don't want to be out in the suburbs.
Right. You're like, I haven't seen anyone for 2 hours.
Yeah, you don't need that kind of stuff. You can't be homeless around a farm, or else somebody will ask you to do some job. Right. You know what I mean? You will end up working for food.
You'll be escorted out of the neighborhood. Someone's like, I saw a homeless person.
And the other thing is, if you're in New York City, you're surrounded by churches, and they'll always let you take a bed downstairs and
Sure.
shit like that. There's plenty of places that you can reach out for help. So, yeah, every city has homeless, but when a suburb has homeless people, it weirds people out.
Yeah, people get pretty freaked out.
Yeah.
I mean, people get freaked out enough that people aren't in cars in the suburb. Like, they're like, why is that guy walking down the street? Like, have you ever been walking in a place that doesn't normally have foot traffic? People will just yell things out the car, like, hey!
Can I help you? Can I help you?
I'm walking.
I'm just walking.
They do not like to see walking. Sometimes they don't even like to see a car. I know a dude who lives in North Jersey, and he's like, about a week ago, one of my neighbors saw a guy just driving up our street. I go, how is that dangerous to you? You know what I mean?
Brady's so special.
Weirdos walk by my fucking building 24 hours a day. No one has started fucking trouble.
Yeah, you step over them on your way down the stoop.
Yeah. But they're like, we saw a man. And Marin did an episode the other night where he's sitting on a park bench, right, in L.A., and a woman comes over and says, hey, me and my friends were noticing you. And he's like, yeah? How you doing? And they're like, yeah, you don't have a kid, and we'd like you to leave. And there was actually a sign at this playground, no children.
Right.
An adult can't get in without kids. An adult just can't go and sit on a bench and watch a softball game. You have to come in with a kid.
Right.
And I've seen those kind of playgrounds.
Yeah, there's
before.
definitely places in New York. The playground that's closest to me, it's a big sign. If you don't have kids, please don't come in.
It's
it doesn't seem like fair, but
well, I say
I
this.
will get in there.
They don't let us into the schools, so. But yeah, it is weird now to think that. And Fez used to say this all the time because he went through life as a single. He said that people would treat him like a creep a lot. Like sometimes even at a restaurant.
Right, if he was just alone, like, is everything okay? Sir, you appear to be dining alone.
Yes, I'd like a movie ticket. How many? One. So your friend is coming later? No, I just want one. It's odd.
Is everything okay, sir?
And he said they would also ask him to move on planes for
Right.
couples.
Right.
He's like, I have my seat, and I want my seat. And everybody was around him going like, why don't you just move? Let these people sit together.
You have no one. Just move.
They're together.
Sir, also, we will remind you there's no masturbating on this flight. What? I'm just single.
Yeah, single people masturbate all the time in here. That's why we have a taser.
Now, you can't hear the mic popping at all, right?
I don't hear the mic popping.
And yet Brad Miller claims that it is.
I was told that a new card was installed so that wouldn't happen.
But if we don't hear it, how would we be able to correct it? We'd
Right.
have to hear it here.
We don't hear it. Don't start rumors.
I'm listening to Note to Engineering.
Some people heard some things that we don't hear.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. The Mike Racine film is up on the iBang today, and it's just terrific. Big fan of his. Love the kid. And the funny thing about this, if you take the jokes out, it would work as a gangster
I know,
film.
I was
He's
thinking that.
really good.
The music is hilarious. Like
Yeah.
the Scorsese, like, music is amazing.
So it's really cool. Check it out on the iBang today.
It's called A Dollar Short. And, yeah, I love all the cameos as well. Seeing all of our buddies in the film. Especially Louis J. Gomez. I don't want to spoil anything, but as a thug.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
I spoiled it.
Here's Al in Maryland. How you doing, Al?
Hey, good. Hey, so excluding the climate, what city?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, dude. I don't know whether it's your phone or all of our stuff. sucks. But what he was saying is, what city has the best homeless? Well, oddly, it's strange how much they're alike in whatever city that you go.
Yeah.
I don't think that if we did a game show that we brought out like 7 homeless people, I think it would be really tough to pick out who is from San Francisco, who's from Chicago, who's from New York, who's from Miami.
I will say that's probably true, but I felt like when I went out to LA, the homeless people were so different than New York City homeless people because I felt like they were being so like weird and performative. Like I just kept thinking like,
Right.
do you want a reality show? Is that really what you want?
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
Where like kind of sometimes like New York homeless, like they're kind of like in their own world. They're
Yeah.
gruff. A lot of times they're not even really selling themselves very good. They're just like,
all right, good point. Also, it seems like California homeless have way more tats, but that's because
Yeah.
their shirts are off.
sure.
You know, they have their shirts off a lot. A lot of them are in great shape. Like you're
Yeah.
out in California, you'll see like a really healthy homeless dude. You know?
Yeah, there's somebody who's maybe like jumped a couple fences in his life.
But it's always weird to me that people, they're not from the same area, but they have the same feeling. Like gay people, wherever you go, there's that gay thing that it's, you know, it's not there ethnically.
Yeah, that's very bizarre. It's very prevalent when you know a young person who is clearly going to be gay, or then they come out later. But
Right.
like, there's something about that person that is just like nobody taught you to talk that way, express yourself that way. Like, where did it come from? Like, what is it?
Well, also you have that, and people are like, oh, well, he acts like a girl. And you go, show me a girl that acts like that. It isn't acting like a girl.
It's not.
It's acting gay.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah.
They don't act like women.
Right.
They certainly get along well with women. Like there's a symbiosis there, clearly. But it's not like behaving like a woman.
Once again, women are subservient to them, where they just like, he wants me to dress differently and thinks I should lose weight. You're like, why are you fucking listening to him?
He said I should wear my bangs shorter, and I trust him. I just really trust him. Trust his
Why?
instinct.
Why?
Look at that great shirt he's wearing.
Is it great or over the top loud?
I'm not sure. He's my best friend. I don't know.
I could start a new show called Let's Point Out the Hypocrisy of Gays. Because they sit, I'll watch them on like the E! Channel, and they're dressed like fucking Elton John's, they got into Elton John's old trunk.
Right.
You know? And then they sit and bitch about someone else's
Right.
clothes when they got these wacky frames on their glasses.
But gay men always feel very comfortable how to like tell women how to wear their hair and how to dress. And then they'll remind you too, which I think is really like, what did I say? I told you to cut your hair shorter. Didn't I say
But
that would look?
why?
I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't want to do that. Like none of my girlfriends tell me how to dress or how to wear my hair. Like never.
Yeah, it's always gays.
Yeah. That's their thing.
And, you know, people are like, I worry about these young girls having body issues. And I'm like, yes, because of gays.
They don't help.
Yeah.
They do not help.
Because you'll see straight men fucking dating some big ass girls. They don't care. You know what I mean? You'll see them walking around the mall. They don't have a care in the world.
My friend Chris was giving a hard time to another friend who is also gay, and he was like telling him that he was fat, and I'm like, you're insane. He's not fat. I mean, he's not fat at all. And he's like, well, he's gay fat. It's different than your standards. Your people have different standards, okay? It's just different. He's gay fat.
They're bullies. They're literally bullies.
But they're accepted bullies. Like everyone is fine with it. Like
Well, they're able to do it in a charming way somehow, where you're like, oh, you.
Well, the only time that you'll hear straight guys be mean to straight guys is sports announcing. You know what I mean? Like our sports fucking stuff will not put up with a slightest mistake.
Right.
You know, you watch PTI, and that old man will say, James Harden blew the game. You're like, well, Harden had 41 fucking points.
it's on his back.
Right.
Yeah, he just didn't score the last point, and now you're blaming the entire game on him. And you can get away with this. This is older men attacking younger men for stuff that older men cannot do. That's being a sports fan.
Right. That's the one time you guys do it.
We do it, and we'll also pay attention then if that guy's gaining weight or not.
Right.
So,
The fuck
we're
is
like-
lazy? He's coming to camp like that?
they don't even let anybody come to camp like that anymore. Camp is now fucking 12 months out of the year.
Right.
When I was younger, guys would go away in the off season and then come back fat. And then,
Like, we gotta
what
work
are
on
you
this.
doing? Now they're like, no, you're living next to the stadium. We pay you too much money, and you're going to be here every day. So what you don't realize, like, you're watching football, those guys have a team meeting the next week, and their schedule gets set up. They're getting weighed.
It's bullying.
They're
That's what it is.
Yes, it's constant bullying.
Their entire diet, I was reading about how the Seahawks, how they do it in Chip Kelly. They monitor everything, all the food they take in themselves, every single thing.
So
they
Body
do.
shaming.
Do you think that the Seahawks have Chip Kelly?
No, the Seahawks and then Chip Kelly for the Eagles. They were doing the same thing. Excuse me.
It's every team. Every team out there sits and thinks. And if a guy runs a 4.5 and then he's at a 4.6, there's a fucking meeting about that 1/100th of a second. Everyone's going like, I don't know, 1/10 of a second. Like, we're probably going to have to get rid of him. He's
What happened
really
out there?
fucking slow as shit.
You want to talk about what happened out there?
You're falling apart on us.
Cam said I could have sworn that the golden buzzer was something Hicks takes to bed with him at night.
Oh,
No.
Let me get that.
me either.
I'm guessing it's some sort of vibrator.
Oh,
I guess that's it.
And that is a total lie.
You're going through a weird time. How about how he was acting today at our pre-show meeting with Don?
he had a lot on his mind.
He was just coming with like little things that had nothing to do with it. Like, she's coming. She's coming.
He was in producer mode.
Just watching the clock.
Was he? Because it was way off. And then while you were watching the clock, you weren't listening in here. Did you let anybody know about that? No.
Yeah.
Just the smallest people. We got a break coming up soon, and then you're going to bring your team out.
Yes.
And how are they doing? How are you doing it? Because is this like the upfronts? Is there going to be a lot of excitement with it?
Well, I'm going to introduce them, and they also produce something for their big day as well.
Well, when I went to play the Bennington song, we couldn't. Are we going to be able to hear their song?
Yes, we will. It's going to be fixed by the time we come back from break.
All right, we
Can't
will
wait.
be right back. You're listening to Bennington.
Wait, 1, 2. How many shows does this guy have again? You're listening to Bennington on Raw Dog Comedy Hits, Sirius XM 99.
Hey, I kind of took a little offense to that. How many shows does this guy have? I don't even know who you are. You're saying that. Everybody, it's Tito's Handmade Vodka. That's America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beverage, that is his real name, by the way, had the idea of building his own micro distillery, incorporating the boutique winery concept into the spirits industry. I want to change that too. It was micro distillery. He came up with that idea. He required not the people who used to just cook up in the mountains. They didn't have micro distilleries back there making White Lightning. Tito went and acquired the first legal permit to distill in Texas, and he put his life's savings into it, racking up 19 credit cards to build his copper pot stills and condensers. Since then, he's been awarded a 95 rating by Wine Enthusiast. That's really, really good, by the way. Most ratings are much, much smaller. And so he's been able to pull that off, and he's won unanimous judges' choice, double gold medal at the World's Spirits competition, the Chairman's Trophy for the world's best vodka, tonic, and many others. Now you got to remember, this is one guy in Texas coming up with his own idea. And who is he competing against? You can say as loud as you want. He's up against the Russians. He's up against the Polish people who've done this for generations and generations. And down in Texas, Tito comes up with his own handmade vodka and whips all their asses. It's got a modest paper label on a simple bottle. So all you pay for is the exceptional handmade vodka. Inside, Tito still makes his vodka by hand on the same land where it all started in Austin, Texas. Now, Austin, Texas, of course, you know, keep it weird, all kinds of great singers, all kinds of great filmmakers, great food places. But who they all talk about when you get down there? Tito. Most of these people know him on one name basis. Just, oh yeah, I know Tito. I know what he's up to. So check it all out. Tito's handmade vodka is distilled 6 times from 100% corn, and it's naturally gluten-free. And that's good because I got Stanley on a non-gluten diet right now, and he's looking fantastic. His eyes have cleared up, his complexion, his back teeth came in after all these years. Finally got his molars. Visit us at titosvodka.com for recipes, songs, and more. And when I say songs, I'm not kidding. You go there and Tito is just singing songs, and he's left stuff about how to become more successful. To me, Tito is the #1 business person in America. As we're looking at everything getting corporate, I just love looking at one guy who had an idea, banked it, went for it, and there he is. It's all handcrafted to be savored responsibly. Tito's handmade vodka.
You're listening to Bennington on Raw Dog Comedy Hits, Sirius XM 99.
Yeah, buddies. Welcome back to Bennington. Ron Bennington, Gail Bennington.
What's it?
You know, we were talking about homeless people kind of seeming the same no matter where they're from. And Danny Flips said, what about stagehands? They are the same no matter where you go. And it is true. You will walk into the place, meet the guys in the crew, and be like, do I know you?
Right.
From a million other shows?
I've met this dude before.
They all got the whole same thing going on. And it's amazing, like, how many places I've ever been there. I'm like, this will never get wired in time. I'll show up 2 hours before, and it isn't put together, and I'm like, I don't see this happening. And it always gets done.
I think tech guys in general tend to seem very much the same. Like, you can move from job to job, but the dudes who are involved with, like, the technical stuff are always the same guy.
And I guess
it's a solid dude.
Yeah.
But
I guess they're never out of work either. You know what I mean? Like, for the rest of their life, they're going to be the tech guy, no matter where you go.
Because everyone else is an idiot, doesn't know how to do things, and these people have an actual skill.
I remember being out at this thing we were doing. I'm like, there's no way we can pull off a broadcast here. And I watched this dude just dig a hole and pull wire out of the ground.
What?
And tap into it. And I'm like, I don't know how this is happening,
This guy knows what's going on, but I don't.
But, I thought, even after, I'm like, well, this is more, what he just did is more interesting than the show that I'm doing now.
Maybe we should just talk to this guy.
We should just get out of his way and just let him keep hooking up stuff everywhere. That's a lot of those dudes. They don't even pay for their own electricity. They just go out, climb a pole, set some stuff up. You ever see those, like, 80s hip-hop parties? They used to just tap directly into the red light, They would just go in and steal the electricity out of that light, and cops would pull up and they would go, all right, well, it looks like everybody's being cool. We'll let them go for a while. They would just be like, yeah, I guess the neighborhood needs to get out here and hip and hop for a while, so we'll let it go.
How would anyone even know how to do that?
I don't know.
I don't even know how to use my TV remote. I just don't use it.
I just keep clicking it around until finally something comes up. I just believe that I'll finally make the right mistake. Much like life on Earth. Just keep going until finally something happens. This is Bennington. I brought this up that you can get tickets to see me and Lisa Lampanelli in conversation at the 92Y. It's all happening Monday, June 22nd at 8:15. And it says here at the 93rd Street Y. I don't know whether...
Do not go there. You're not going to find.
You're going to be one block too far.
92nd Street Y. 92nd Street Y.
Thanks for correcting me instead of this paper. You correct me instead of the paper.
I'll give that paper a talking to later.
It's definitely the second best Y, though, of the two.
You show up at the 93rd Street Y, and you're going to see a bunch of Greek guys naked just getting out of the hot tub.
Be very embarrassing.
So confusing how close they are, too. I mean, just one street away.
Well, it's very popular.
Lou said, if someone came into my house and requested gluten-free vodka, I'd probably shove a garden hoe in their face. Well, first of all, Lou, that's scary.
Yeah.
That you're willing to shove a garden hoe in someone's face.
Why do you have that in the house?
Yeah.
It should be in the shed.
And I don't know whether you're going to taste the difference in a gluten-free or why you get mad at people who have allergies. What are you going to do about it?
It's naturally gluten-free. It's not like they have used some process to extract gluten.
Yes, it's already naturally
Like-
gluten-free. Hey, by the way, if you're looking for gluten-free, this thing is.
Right.
Not, hey, we've taken all the glutens out of our vodka.
There was never any gluten in their vodka. That was the original idea.
We're
No
just
gluten.
listing pros here.
No, I don't think anyone thought about it. I think maybe you don't make vodka with gluten.
Right. I think that's... Well, it's not normally wheat-based. Is it normally corn-based?
I just found out that I've got a gig coming up at the 93rd Street Y.
92nd.
So I'm going to be doing Indian clubs with old guys.
92nd Street Y.
I'm hoping this new staff is what Stanley needs to turn himself around.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I feel good about
she's coming. She's coming.
I've got.
Don't stop talking. She's coming. She said she's going to be here. She's coming. Just relax. Who? Who? Someone in your head?
I thought
He said, Spencer's saying it in my head. He's saying it in my head right now.
You guys don't hear it too?
I thought we were having a surprise party. I almost screamed.
Surprise! I always have confetti with me anyway, in case I need it, just to
Yeah, why
throw it out
not?
and say go surprise to people.
And then also, if somebody's homophobic, you can use confetti to hurt them.
Is that right?
Remember that was a thing? Glitter bombing. That's what it was. Glitter, not
Oh
confetti.
yeah, the glitter bombing. If somebody doesn't like the gays, you glitter bomb them.
Mm-hmm. Right in the eyes.
Oh, and there's bad chemicals in there as well. I don't like it. I don't even think it's funny, like the pie in the face or any of
No.
that. Don't physically do shit to people.
No, I don't like physically assaulting a person, even if they don't have the same politics as you.
People are writing into me now. Let's see. There are vodkas with gluten. Wheat sourced vodkas include Absolute, Grey Goose, Sky, and more. So, if you have those, you're going to have glutens.
Yeah.
I know your aunt says she has a gluten allergy.
A lot of people say they do.
Do you think your aunt's lying? Just tell me. She lies about a lot of stuff. Like, I'm not even kidding about this. She claims that one time that she beat up one of the Gracie brothers.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think that
She said they were both drunk when it happened, and she just caught him with a really good shot. But I don't know. She says a lot of shit. But now she's gluten-free.
Yeah. No, I think there are people who have gluten sensitivity, but I also think there are people who they choose to take things out of their diet, but then they call it an allergy in order to make people more
Feel for them.
Yeah, but also to take them seriously. Like I've heard people say that they have an allergy to something that they just don't want to eat in order for the server at a restaurant to like be extra careful to make sure it's not in their food. But it's just...
That's dirty lying.
It's just a lie.
All right, a lot of people are saying that my mic pops or has a hiss, and other people aren't hearing it. Sometimes I wonder if it matters what you're listening to, whether you're listening to a radio or an
On the app, yeah.
or on your computer or if you just like your friend is listening to it and you're just kind of leaning over from your desk.
Right.
You know? This is going to be part of my talks at the 93rd Street Y.
92nd Street Y.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 93rd Street Y.
The second best Y there is.
But we have to look across the street at that other Y doing so much
What do they got
better.
going on over there?
They got fucking Obama tonight. Bullshit. Anyway, I got 3 kids that I met in the park that are trying to get a soccer team together. They're going to give a talk. We got another young person coming in doing a talk that says boys rule and girls drool.
Mm-hmm. In conversation.
In conversation.
With some boys.
Well, I'd have to say this. They're icky, they have cooties, and they're skank whores. who sent me these 2 cigars?
That was dropped off to me in Queens, New York by Tony from Brooklyn.
Tony from Brooklyn, thanks for the cigars. Where are these cigars from?
He did not say, but we did. Right now they're from the PC Richard and Son parking lot.
So the reason why I asked is if did they come from this country or another?
I know.
They smuggled here illegally, because that would make me enjoy them more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Tony in Brooklyn. And what did you give him, Chris?
Oh, a handshake. I smoked a cigarette. Oh, we shot the shit.
Yeah.
A handshake? You mean like a...
No.
Oh.
Just a cordial handshake.
Oh, regular handshake.
With another man.
You thought handshaking of that dick?
Yeah.
That dick.
Dick didn't come in anywhere near there.
Yet. This ain't over yet.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, the game is being played.
I do have his cell phone number, so...
Sure.
The eternal dance is on.
I get it. No handshake on the first date. I get it.
I know what, you're bringing up people saying allergies. This guy, an allergy to the check. You know what I'm saying, folks? He fucking short arms every check there is.
I just didn't reach it. Thank you, though.
Check came, huh?
I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Gotta get out of here.
There is a frightening thing up on the iBank today called Super Bounce House. Now, you live down in Florida, Gail, and you've seen waterspouts before.
I have, yes.
Why these people treat it like a fun joke and aren't grabbing their children is beyond me.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
If you're out on the beach with your children and you see a waterspout, right?
Yeah.
Treat it the same way if you saw a wolf running through your neighborhood. Grab your kids, pull them to safety.
Sure.
Even if the wolf isn't coming directly towards you, you never know when a wolf is going to go in the other direction. And that could have happened. And these people are fucking nuts.
We can't predict where they're going to go. Dorothy has not worked yet.
Is that more gay stuff?
No, that's Twister.
Oh, okay.
Dorothy, too.
Yeah, but did they ever pick up on the fact that Dorothy is something you gays?
I don't know. I think they were trying to just do the Twister, like Dorothy got
I
taken
got
out.
that. But you also have to remember that, things have changed quite a bit.
Sure.
That's not the one we're necessarily looking for.
Right.
But anyway, go over to the iBank, see this. It's a water spout, which is basically a little twister, coming up on the beach, ripping across the beach, and picking up a bouncy house. People are yelling like it's fun, but there's children inside that bouncy house.
It's crazy. I actually thought that it wasn't real when I first saw it, because do you remember there was that viral video that those people made where it looked like a hawk had swooped down and picked up the kid, but it wasn't real? I actually thought this wasn't real at first. I was like, this has got to be.
It's a good call because you cannot trust the internet.
Right.
You can't. They're too fucked up.
I thought that was real when that hawk took that baby.
It looked really real.
Yeah,
it
we all
really
did. We all did. We all saw it the first time, and people were like, "That's not real," and you're like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah, I just meant like, can you believe how good that looked? The CGI of that.
You know, when you're watching it the first time, you're just screaming, "No!"
I didn't know they could do that.
They're so strong. I'm not going outside anymore.
Lock the doors.
Now, here's the thing about being in Florida. If you got your kids on the beach in Florida and you see a water spout, if it's out far enough, just keep an eye on it and keep an eye on your children. Don't be far away from them. But also, if you see lightning anywhere, get off the fucking beach.
Yeah.
Because lightning hits so many people in Florida.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know people that got hit on a clear blue day. There wasn't even any clouds, and they got hit.
I don't know if this is true, but I remember hearing that Daytona Beach is like the lightning capital of the world or something.
Well, they used to say,
or maybe the U.S. But
yeah, they used to say that Tampa was, and then they changed it to Daytona. And storms come up so quick.
Yeah.
On Daytona, it just gets dark, and then that lightning. I've been down on the beach before, where everybody's hair started to go up.
Holy shit!
And that meant that one is coming. So you stay low. But some people are just like, yay! Look at my hair. I look like I'm not. This fucking lightning just hits them.
I can't remember what beach we were on, but I have a memory of being little, and we were out on the balcony of a hotel, and so it was a beautiful day, and the sky just changed, and we watched the storm, storm just come in so super fast from the water, and it's just crazy. Like, you could just see a wall of storm, like good weather here, and then storm, just taking over.
Yeah, you could just see, you're still sitting in the sunshine, and you can see darkness and sheets of rain.
Yeah.
50 yards from you. And you're like, is that coming this way? Oh my God.
It was terrifying.
I've been in Florida and been running with the rain behind me, and you could hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could hear rain behind you. Shut! I don't want to got these shoes. Wow. Just grabs you.
Now, I wonder if these people weren't moving or trying to get away from it, because I know that water spouts, for whatever strange reason, even though they look like tornadoes, are not as powerful. But then the second they touch land, then they start to behave more like a tornado. Well, it's not like a water spout could pull a boat up in it. That's what I've heard, that it's actually just sucking up water. It's like the land kind of helps create the power behind it.
I'd say that I don't know of, but I know. I mean, all you got to do is watch this.
Sure.
And you see it, and you're like, and you can see people have kids that are 25 yards away from them as a twister is fucking approaching. They're like, look, kids, it's a water spout. It's a fun thing.
You actually, I don't know if it's the guy who's recording it or someone standing next to the person recording it, but you hear him say ha ha, took the bouncy house. No, there's children in it. At first it seemed funny until he realized what he was saying. He was in mid-sentence. Ha ha, there goes the bouncy house with children.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm happy or shocked. It's like you caught a guy laughing at 9/11.
Right. This is weird, right? Hey, is anyone in that building?
What do you think?
All right, let's not turn on each other. It's Bin Laden. Our problem's with Bin Laden, not each other.
No, you're part of the problem, too.
It is, it's bizarre how many people will go places and not pay. Look, here's all you got to do. Just change the term water spout with Viet Cong.
Right.
And would you think it might be interesting to see Viet Cong sneaking up. You know what I mean? Like, hey, look.
Kids, you ever see that before?
Isn't that new? The Viet Cong coming?
Look how sneaky they are.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The man in the black pajamas will cut your fucking throat. This is what I'm trying to. This is why I want my own news show in Florida, so I could sit there and just stop the news and point some of this shit out. I would tell you this too. If I was the governor of Florida, I'd have to start and tell people, look, I'm noticing that a lot of you dudes that aren't wearing shirts and are pretty tatted up are finding yourself in the back of a cop car. I'm not saying the bareback plus tats leads to incarceration, but I'm not running into a lot of clothed people that aren't having tattoos getting picked up this way.
Put a shirt on, just see what happens.
See what happens. Maybe
just try it for a week.
You'll behave differently. Also, hand lotion. Let's get some smooth hands. I'm noticing a lot of you guys have extremely rough hands. I feel like if your hands were smoother, you'd stay out of trouble. Oh, one more thing. Let's change some of the music that you're listening to, all right? Let's drop some of the heavier metals. I'm not saying you can't ever listen, but don't just constantly listen to it. Sinatra's out there.
Right. branch out. And again, the lotion. The lotion will help.
A lot of lotion.
Just like a little dime size even in the palm. Just
Let's
lather
start
it
with
up.
a lot more than that. Maybe we'll get to dime size, but I'd like to see you fill a cap up with it and just rub your hands in it. Sleep in it. Sleep in a bathtub full of it. In New York, and I don't know whether this is a way everywhere, but they consider like real thug uniform stuff a fucking baseball cap. So you'll go past it, you'll go to clubs, and clubs will be like, no caps.
Yeah.
Under any circumstances.
Weird. Where do, not New York, obviously, but like where do they do that?
They do it in the urban clubs in
Right.
New York. If a guy comes up
okay.
wearing a baseball cap, they think he's trouble.
No fitteds is what they'll say at the door. Take your hat off.
Can you want a non-fitted?
Yeah, what about with the little
No snapbacks either.
snappies?
Even some bars, not even clubs, will make you take your hat off.
Yeah, I saw that on a bar rescue where they're like, we need to get the fucking cap guys out of here. They come in here with their caps, and a lot of times it'll be matching shoes. Like, they don't care what team they're promoting,
Right.
as long as it's the same color as their shoes.
Yeah.
They'll be a Yankees fan, and they're wearing Blue Jays cap, and you're like, oh, you're Blue Jays fans? Hate them. Hate those fucking guys. But look how this reflects off my shoe.
Oh.
By the way, wearing the same thing is not matching.
It's a little confusing for them, color coordination.
Yeah. It's supposed to be two colors that look good together.
Complementary. Something to explore.
Well, no, you need sky blue Tims and your sky blue hat.
Also, patterns can be interesting too. Not
Doesn't always
just
have to
solid
be a
blocks
solid- yeah.
of the same color.
I mean, it's great that it's a throwback. I appreciate it. But it still looks like you're going to shoot everybody here.
I don't know. Sometimes hats are just used for bad hair. You know?
Well, then wear a football helmet so we know that you're not looking for trouble.
What if you show up in like a sombrero? It's not all hats, right? Just
Oh,
the
no,
fitteds?
sombreros definitely. No sombreros
Oh,
at all.
okay.
I would wear a sombrero. That way I could keep some dip up there.
Yeah, sure.
Todd wants to talk to us about the water spout tornado gimmick. Josh in Texas.
Hey, hi there, guys. Hey, Gail, the reason that tornado doesn't do much damage on water as it does on land is because of the friction involved. There's more friction on a hard surface than there is on a water surface. It's kind of like when a hurricane makes landfall. As soon as it hits landfall, it starts to deteriorate. Kind of the same thing. And they don't last. Tornadoes obviously don't last as long, but that's the.
But
just to let you know, watch more destruction.
Yeah, but a hurricane, you said, loses and a tornado picks up.
Correct, because a tornado's smaller and more compact.
But then there's also tornadoes inside hurricanes.
Correct. That's why as soon as a hurricane makes landfall, they issue tornado watches for that area because they don't know where it's going to spin up on the ground because there's more friction being created than it is out on the surface.
Now, Josh,
out of the water.
Why does there seem like there's more of this bad weather today than ever before?
I don't know. In fact, I'm down here in Houston. We've had nonstop. We've had about 20 inches of rain.
Dude, I
And,
saw that flooding story. It made me cry.
Yeah, and they're finding more people that have drowned inside of their cars because we're sitting there waiting. And, of course, everything's electric. You can't punch yourself out a window from your door because of the pressure. So there's a lot of those bad stories going on.
But, you know,
and they're telling people not to go to work. Yeah, they were telling people not to go to work and everything. But this is, people come home from the Rockets game that night and all that kind of stuff. So
All right. Thanks so
Pretty
much,
crazy out
buddy.
there.
Yeah, it's just terrible. The weather has gotten so nutty, even if you don't believe in global warming, you'd have to admit that we have more crazy storms, or maybe there's just more people.
Yeah.
So there's more people getting caught up in it. But I saw this the other day. It looks like they're going to stop people from going to the North Pole because the ice has weakened so much.
So you can't do those like expeditions or trekking.
That's over after all those years. I guess you could take, I don't know, a boat up with a couple of friends.
Yeah, they even stopped having, there was one plane company that would fly people for private expeditions, and they're like, no, we can't do this anymore.
It's just too risky. There's probably nowhere to land.
There's too much melting of ice.
Yeah.
It's just too dangerous to go through it.
Who would have thought that years ago I should have taken my trip to the North Pole?
I know.
Because that was always on the bucket list.
Now what? Now it's on the bucket list.
Yeah, I guess
Stuff
it
you
is.
can't do.
No, I won't do. Bucket list. There's plenty on there.
Fuck the North
Right.
Pole.
I feel bad about that because that used to be like there were a couple things that you could do to kind of prove that you're somewhat of an explorer, and that's off the table now. The trip to the North Pole.
Pretty much anything you hear about that area in general is depressing. It's only bad news coming out of the north.
I don't know whether you saw this, but a bunch of elves drowned.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the house that they were living on gave out. They were all, most of them were in bunk beds. I mean, they're just
Sad.
thousands and thousands of bunk beds of them in this one room, and none of them were able to get out.
They need ice to survive. That's their natural habitat.
I just want to also point this out. They said that there was an air pocket that a lot of them had gathered in for days before finally
No.
That makes it so much
the elf
sadder.
house just went down.
No.
Yeah, they suffered.
Jesus.
They suffered.
It's terrible news.
Yeah, and they said that they were scratching "Help us."
No, into the ice,
Yeah,
into the
into
melting ice.
Who would even read that?
No, you can't because it
Well, they were
melted.
hoping Santa. That's what they were hoping.
Seems like Santa was out to lunch.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You will never go to the North Pole now.
Nope.
That shit's fucking done.
It's on your bucket list.
All because you destroyed the climate through your MTVs and your
Hairspray.
Nike shoes and your fast food, and your elastic bands, your sweatpants.
Have another cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Kill the North Pole. Kill dreams.
I don't know what exactly happened, how we fucked up the weather. I can say this, and I'll speak for humanity. We didn't know.
Sure. We
No,
should
yeah.
have listened. I
Yeah.
know that.
We didn't know what we were doing.
The North Pole's now done. I'm sure they're going to stop people from climbing. They're already saying they want to stop people from climbing on Everest because there's just people leave too much crap up there, like they're trash, and that they're saying that we have to shut this down eventually. That's going to be gone in the next few years.
It's crazy because anybody who would climb to Everest, you would think is like kind of an outdoorsy person, and yet they're all litterers. Like, I can't carry this down. Lighten the load here.
I wouldn't carry anything. I was like, somebody else can get this. Fucking exhausted.
I'm gonna need a couple Sherpas.
What I would do is just set up a water slide thing there for,
Oh, that'd be fun.
that you go up
All right.
and then you're down quickly. Maybe too quickly.
They pull something like that off. That's going from fuck it to bucket. I'm in.
It's back. And then can I get away up there without all the climbing?
Right.
Is there like a giant elevator that I could do?
Ski lift, maybe.
ATV, the very least.
Something.
Marry, fuck, kill. A vagina, a bride, and a convicted murderer. By the way, I'm just going to make this easier, of children.
Oh, God.
That's way worse.
Tricky.
Tricky.
What if they were bad children, though? Like, what if you knew they were going to grow up to
There's
be
no
bad?
such thing.
Oh.
There's no such thing.
All babies are beautiful.
Yeah, even baby Hitler was nice. Here's Tim in Illinois.
Hey, Ronnie, by the way, love that new show. It's great.
Thanks.
You were talking about that wall of storm that was coming. I was out one night mowing road banks on our farm, and I looked back behind me. There's this wall of water and storm coming towards me, and I give the tractor everything it's got, and I can watch this water getting the road wet behind me just a little bit at a time, coming up on the back of my mower, and I'm giving this tractor everything, and it just will not get going. And I only got like 2 miles, and I can just shoot right into the barn, And it overtook me, and man, I mean, it just drenched me. Just absolutely drenched me. And like 2 minutes later, that wall of water you can see moving away from you.
It's unbelievable, right? It's
crazy.
It's insane, but yeah, just the idea of a wall of water. It's a lot of people's biggest nightmares, that they'll have nightmares that there's just a giant wave coming in. And even when I was a kid and I would build sandcastles, I used to think, well, what if we were really small? What would the ocean be like if we were, we were tiny people? Just these massive waves coming in.
Scary.
I know this, no matter how big the wave is, even if it was a mile high, Laird Hamilton still would be able to ride it.
He'd get right in the curl.
Right in the curl and stay there. And maybe about a half hour into his ride, just take out a sandwich or, Chris, one of those protein beverages that you're always talking
Sure,
about.
would have you.
Because people have given up on food.
Completely.
Here is Eric. Eric, go ahead, buddy.
Hey, guys. Hey, I spend a lot of time on the weekends going off-roading with friends. And you'll always hear a lot of the environmentalists will complain about, off-roaders are such horrible, terrible people, and they destroy the environment and this and that. And we've noticed, and there's actually been some studies done, some of the worst litterers in the backcountry are actually hikers, and a lot of the environmentalist types who will complain will go in there and they leave so much trash behind that it's actually ridiculous. There is a movement, it's called there's a movement in the off-road community called Tread Lightly, and it's basically whatever you take into the backcountry with you, you bring back out. And a lot of these four-wheel drive clubs will go in there and they'll do these trail cleanups, and the stuff they bring out is more stuff that a hiker would carry with them into the backcountry than an off-roader would carry.
Because they're just exhausted and don't want to carry it all the way back?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can see
they
how
don't
it
want to carry the
happened.
trash out with them.
Yeah, because carrying it sucks. It's always sucks.
I went hiking this weekend on Saturday, upstate New York, and it was crazy the amount of trash that I saw. It was nuts.
Really?
Yeah. It's nuts to think that somebody would be just like, what a beautiful view, and then just like throw their juice box on the ground or something.
When I was younger, we would just chuck stuff out the window of a car. I'm not even making it up. I think it was Lady Bird Johnson who had to say, look, stop it, everyone. Because I guess there wasn't,
No one thought about it.
Yeah, it was like it was a big planet. Because they said like the Indians themselves would just throw shit around.
Right. And the other thing is we have only had disposable stuff for so long.
Right.
We used to keep everything that we owned and we would repurpose it if it was broken. So it's a whole new generation of like disposable stuff. So you're just like, yeah, I guess this is shit now. So just throw it out.
You're right. There's only been about 70 years probably of this disposable shit. And look at the fucking mess we made of it. Before that, people would be like this. I have a piece of cloth. I'll be able to do something with this. Oh, this bottle will be great. We can bring water back from the river.
So you would just like have a basket for like your entire life. This crate. We'll put things in this crate.
All you got to do is look at the hallways around here to see the way fucking people act.
A lot of junk.
You can't even make it through. My joke is, I say to people, I'll clean this up in just a minute. And we all have a big laugh.
It's a great joke. It does really well in the halls.
And then I'll yell belly bumpers, and we'll have to start putting our bellies together. All right, Stanley, you got that song the guy sent us, right?
Yes.
And his name is what?
Mike S.
All right, we're going to give Mike S. a Smash Your Trash. Let's take a listen.
Go
Well, I don't even know if we can smash or trash that because it's too goddamn good to even discuss.
It's so good. It's a clear smash.
Wow.
It's a catchy one.
Bennington. Well, I'm always naturally like someone who has a psychotic strain to their voice. Devo had it,
Yes.
the Talking Heads, and then weirdly, Weird Al had it.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
the things that people liked about Weird Al without even knowing it is it sounded like he might not make it through the song before he did something horrible.
That's what I was thinking. It reminds me of Devo. It's got that weird sound.
Well, it's got that weird sound, and he's not trying to. He's not trying to make anybody happy. He has to say.
I like tons of cool people.
Tons of cool people talk about baseball. Now I look up here on the Twitter, and they're immediately coming back as trashes.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Come on.
Yeah.
Listen.
Even losing people like Queen Elizabeth. But DJ Famous said something funny. This song is what Fez would hear in his head before locking up. Here's somebody who just writes, "This song stinks. Gave me more a headache."
Guys, he's calling you cool. He's calling you guys.
Talk about movies, talk about baseball, talk about basketball, talk about football. Just he gets into this one thing and can't get out of it. Where were you on it, Stanley?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I like that it sounded
Big time smash.
crazy. It's a smash.
Yeah,
My
I gotta-
guess, you smashed it.
Yeah, I kind of gotta agree that this will be something that plays quite a bit on this show.
Yeah, come
Maybe
on, guys.
sometimes instead of even doing the show, we'll just play a 3-hour version of this.
I hope so. He's calling you guys cool.
Matter of fact, I haven't seen one smash. Everyone's just trashing.
Come on,
time to time.
guys.
You can't, you've got to understand that the popular vote is the popular vote.
I understand, but
Yeah.
Are they hearing the same thing we just heard?
they're hard to please.
Everybody is. Everybody's tough to please. All right, Chris Stanley, we're getting ready to announce your new team.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. It's very, very exciting day here on Bennington because we have finally gotten full approval for both of the new employees, aka the new staff. The two new the two new employees. So first I'll start with this individual.
By the way, this sounds like a junior college graduation.
The first individual, former two-time intern, formerly of the Catholic Channel, all the way from Minnesota. I'd like to introduce Mr. Joe Bennington. Joe Bennington is part of the show.
What's up, guys?
Ow!
Joe, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Joey Bennington.
Yeah.
I like Joey Jojo Bennington if it was up to me. That's what I would like to call him.
How do you feel
Joey
about that?
Jojo is his full name.
I can do that. Surprisingly enough, my dad already calls me that.
Joey
So
Jojo?
I'm used to it, yeah.
Are you telling the truth?
Telling the truth, yeah.
Joey. It's a
It
sign.
came to me, you know what I mean?
It's a
like,
sign.
like a Long Island psychic.
I'm going to have to change the sign on his desk, but we can do Joey Jojo.
Why are you putting signs on desks?
Is there going to be enough?
There's nameplates now.
Why? We're not meeting the public. You should only have a nameplate if the public's coming in, not for each other.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Oh, so Joey Jojo sits here. Fun.
This is the Joey Jojo.
Now,
spot.
what's Joey Jojo bringing to the
show?
Showy show?
Joey Joe is bringing to the show. He's a board up. He's a crack board up. Behind the scenes production. He's going to be a little bit of a load boy as well.
Oh,
Load boy.
that's
Joey Jojo.
that's your private life, though. It's none of my business.
Bennington. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Smash.
So, what is his? Are we ever going to get? What is going on with that?
I have no idea.
computer?
That just started happening. It's very weird.
This is how people end up having strokes when they look at a screen, and it just.
I feel crazy looking
This
at
place
this.
is full of surprises.
Yes, none of them good.
Keeps you on your toes, though.
Johnny, Joey, Joe.
Nothing's being pressed.
Talk about Catholics. Talk about St. Paul. Talk about hockey. Talk about Fargo.
I can do all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Joey, Jojo, we've known you for how many years now?
Exactly 3 years ago today, I started my internship with you guys.
Holy shit!
What?
Joey, Jojo. Now, here's the weird thing about Joe. He went to the same high school in St. Paul that our old boss Tim used to go to.
That's weird.
Correct.
Yeah.
Including Louis Anderson, also Johnson High School alumni.
You want to know something? Tim used to bully Louis Anderson when he
Oh,
was younger.
no.
Yeah, and Louis was in here one time, and he was the sweetest person you'd ever want to meet. And then Jay Moore happened to be in that day, and Jay Moore brought up incredibly sweet things that Louis had done for Jay's wife when she was a little girl. Just really kind stuff, really sensitive stuff. And then Tim was like calling up old buddies like, "You're never going to believe who's here." You know, still seemed like a little boyish.
Oh,
we all
no.
kind of hated Tim that day. We're like, "You're
awful.
a fucking asshole." Because we all just wanted to beat up anyone who was mean to Louis Anderson.
I don't know why anyone would be. He seems like a sweet dude.
I brought up a joke to Louis that he didn't even remember that he wrote, but I thought it was the funniest thing ever. He said, like, when you're a little kid, you're always weirded out that your parents eat weird ice cream, like when everyone gets ice cream cones. And your dad was always like, "I'll have onion," right? But your mom was always like, "I'll have a peach." This is the way I'll have peach. He just held his hands together. And I'm like, yeah, I remember. I was like, I don't know what there would be like walnut and stuff. And you're like, why are you wasting ice cream? Get a chocolate, on chocolate, and enjoy.
Peach.
But even now, when you would reach adulthood, you would never order a chocolate cone.
No.
It would seem insane to you.
Plain chocolate, please.
Yes.
You're like, that's going to get on my blouse.
And it's too chocolatey. But when you're a little kid, there's nothing but chocolate for you. You know, just constant chocolate in your life.
Children have to have just different taste buds,
They
right?
do.
Because there's no way that because all children love sweets and they love things that are like disgustingly sweet.
And disgustingly sour.
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know.
Maybe it's like a
weird
high,
little-
like just push it as far as they can with the
There's
sour
some
thing.
truth to that. But then also, like, somebody can give you something when you're a kid. Like, if right now, if you said, "Oh, I have this crab bisque," you would eat it, and you're like, "I'm not sure if I like it. It's a little too you know."
Right.
But when you're a kid, it's like someone shot you in your mouth, and you're like, it's like you're blown off the fucking table.
You actually like reject it from your mouth, like it's not the taste I want.
I forget. Your cousin was up here one time. I forgot what she ate. It was like avocado or something. We're in a fucking restaurant, and she takes her tongue and wipes it across the tablecloth. And I'm like, God, first of all, stop it. And then second, I think I did that before.
Yeah.
I think you can remember.
Like, I don't care how bad the food is that you taste. As an adult, you don't spit food out ever.
No.
Like, when's the last time that you were like, this needs to get out of my mouth, right? It would have to be, like, actually spoiled. It would have to be rotten food that you thought, this is going to make me violently ill if I swallow this.
I've swallowed rotten milk before. And like, oh, this is rotten. I'm just going to swallow a little bit because I don't want to spit it out.
I would spit. That is something.
It happens. I mean, just a little rotten milk, it's not the end of the world.
Just the other day, I know somebody had a coffee with bad milk in it. Because
Really?
the night before, we're like, oh, this milk is bad. And then he was just like, yeah, it sure is. And I assume, because I'm a woman, that that means then you're
Throw
going
it
to... So he puts that back into the
Oh, my
fridge.
God.
And then the next morning, he's sitting there and he's drinking coffee. And I said, where'd you get that milk? And he's like, from the fridge. Why? And I was like, the rotten milk? And he just was like, oh, God, this is my second cup.
So why doesn't he know? whiskey and cigarettes has dulled his senses
Must
to anything?
Tastes good.
Must
Well,
be.
you know, textures are so awful to you when you're a kid. You know what I mean? Like a bad texture will just freak you out when you're a kid. And as you get older, you're just like, I don't know. I'm just eating it. Special. It's on the special list.
It's okay.
All right, so we got Joey Jojo.
Joey Jojo Bennington.
Or people
Glad to
are
have
saying
him.
you call him Millennial Joe on your High Society podcast.
I've called him that before, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm a young guy.
Millennial.
That's you.
Now, here's a couple things that people don't know about Joe. He can do 5,000 sit-ups.
Yep.
Okay?
Consecutively.
Wow.
And he's torn a telephone book apart with his bare hands.
What?
Now, here's the other thing. Since he's a millennial, he doesn't even know what he was tearing.
What?
These books are a lot smaller
is
than they
this?
used to be. This is a couple of pages. All right, so anything else you want to tell us about Joey Jojo?
Oh, Joey Jojo was, I'm going to let you guys in on something. He was the writer and performer of Big Bad Bennington.
Really?
Yeah, that's the secret. That's the secret.
Did not know.
That was me.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that song. Smashed it, if you recall.
And he has a new song that incorporates our new coworker as well.
Well, why wouldn't you want to introduce your new coworkers first, right?
Yes.
Rather than have it come out in the song, which is better for you, Stanley?
Just introduce him first.
Okay.
So, secondly, coming to the staff.
Secondly, let's just stop it there.
Yeah.
Secondly, coming to the
Ew.
staff. And just know that term has never been said in the history of the world. That every day on this show,
Yeah.
you can hear phrasing that's never been done by Homo sapiens.
I'll take that as a positive.
You might as well.
A gentleman does secondly come. So.
Yeah. A gentleman does. Stanley never has.
Former one-semester intern,
Okay.
straight from Astoria, Queens.
This is the build-up.
Our new phone screener, Dan Pearlman Bennington.
I don't consider him a phone screener at all. I consider him a comedian, a writer, and a creative man. Come on in here, dude. The one thing that Dan has pointed out to me and Stanley, as he did not want to be introduced that way, and you were introduced in the fashion you did not wish to be. You're a comedian,
Yes.
a writer.
Yes.
You've got a 4-H blue ribbon.
Is that right?
Yeah, big ribbon.
So, right off the bat, he gives you the thing that you didn't want.
You know what? You know why that's okay is because this is the start, and so we're gonna make mistakes
I like that.
on day one and forgive, and then full speed ahead.
Right.
Right.
But you don't expect your new boss to make the mistakes. You expect you to be the one that makes the mistakes.
Well, you're the boss. Right.
All right, I like that. So I thought Stanley was going to run this crew, but no.
La-dee-da.
All right, it's extra work for me, but it's work I'm willing to do. And you know what? I wish I was the guy announcing this.
Yeah.
So it would have some show business to it. There'd be music. There'd be pomp and circumstances. This is the team that has taken us to the championship. Now, Dan, I want to point this out since we're here on Raw Dog.
Yes.
Doing comedy. You're out doing comedy how many nights a week?
7 nights a week.
Are you just saying 7 nights a week?
No, I was out last night. I'll be out tonight, tomorrow. All the days you could name,
All right.
I'm out those days.
How far backwards do we have to go in time since you missed a night doing stand-up?
Man, it's actually. I took some. I went to visit a friend, like in out of town. So I took one night there, but it's rare. I'll
And
usually
it feels weird to you when you're not doing stand-up?
I get very antsy. I don't really know what.
Do you
I'm
see
doing.
yourself as an addict?
I mean,
Addicted.
I'm probably not a well man.
It
you
seems
know?
compulsive. I don't know if it's
Yes.
addictive,
Well,
but it's very compulsive.
It is an addiction in a certain way. You get just kind of like, I mean, it just feels like some nights like, all right, I know I don't have time, but if I just need to do one set and then I can relax a little bit.
And you normally do how many sets a night?
Last night I did 4. Usually that's the norm. 3, 4.
And how much traveling takes place there?
You get an unlimited Metro card, so that helps. So last I was in Astoria, I was in Williamsburg, I was on the Lower East Side, so there's a lot of darting around.
That's a long night, though, right?
Yeah.
It's a long night. It's a long night.
And where do you want this to lead to you, Dan? What's Dan's 5-year plan? Where are we in 5 years?
5-year plan. Chris nails the intro. Every time.
Really? Because you were hired as a phone screener. That was your official title.
Not for me, and I guaranteed him that he wouldn't be.
I don't think Ron, from all of the times I came on as a guest, was like, man, I bet that guy could answer a phone.
Right.
But no, so yeah, no. Stand up is the main thing I want to do, and I make a lot of videos and stuff, and I write different sketches and shorts that I film.
And you're
want to keep doing that.
Stuff. Yeah, we're gonna promote stuff, and you are going to be working with someone that you couldn't be more unlike, and that's Joey Jojo. Dan.
This guy, I'd never met him or anyone like him before.
Yeah.
But he's one of my favorite things that I've discovered
Right
exists.
back at you, buddy.
It's Odd Couple.
I know.
Yeah.
I really like this union they've created.
It's great.
Don't say union around here.
Oh, I mean,
it's the last thing we want them forming.
Just today we were talking about
just
we
hanging
need a new
out.
phone number.
I know.
So we were just brainstorming and just.
I love when you guys get together and brainstorm.
This is one of our new things.
Yeah.
Called Brainstorm Wednesdays.
All right.
It's mainly just today. It's a Wednesday. But so we had a lot of great ideas for phone. Would you like to hear some?
Yeah, I want to hear a couple.
Okay.
But we have to be careful it's something somebody won't go steal while we're sitting here. Because that's happened with people out there. If they I couldn't get, Ron Bennington anything because they've stolen it.
Yeah, I know. I tried to get DanPerlman.com. The guy tried to sell me for $10,000.
I get that all the time. Yeah, it's constant.
insane.
Squatters.
Yeah,
cyber squatters.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen here because because we brainstorm fast and act faster.
Okay.
Is our new motto.
All right, so let's hear some of it.
Okay. 866 Family B. So
that's weird.
There's Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah, I get it completely. It just weirds
there's
me out.
866 and the Family B.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
866 Jacuzzi, because in a lot of ways we're like the original jacuzzi of comedy.
Okay.
Relaxation,
warm,
fun,
Isn't
good times.
Too many numbers though?
No, it's 7.
Is it?
JACUZZI.
You don't think there's a jacuzzi company out there?
It's a brand, but this is where it ties in.
Yeah.
Sponsors, they pay us to promote them. Give us a call, 866 Jacuzzi from your jacuzzi. You could win a prize.
All right.
Okay.
And the prize is going to be jacuzzi cleaning.
No, that seems a little on the nose.
Okay.
I thought jacuzzi was Anthony's thing. We can't steal it.
Oh yeah.
Oh damn.
Anthony and I also should point that out. All of our buddies, the Skanks, are with the Anthony Network.
Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting.
It's the 3 Skanks, right?
Yes. Jay, Lewis, Dave. Yeah.
And Anthony now, and I already found this out. It's pretty exciting. Because Anthony hasn't had a friend for a long, long time. I mean, he's all by himself out there.
Mm-hmm.
They're already in a bowling league, the 4 of them.
Nice.
Yeah. They call themselves the Boleros.
Cool. You know I love a punny name.
Yeah,
So.
and they're all going to wear those kind of ties.
Mm-hmm.
That was another one of our phone suggestions, the Boleros. So we got to
Boleros.
Can you scratch?
change it.
Can you scratch that out, Joe?
Yeah, let me change
Anthony and the
that.
Skanks already have that.
Right.
Okay.
I had one kind
One?
of
Just the number 1?
well, yeah, just
That's confusing.
one. It's
Isn't that the loneliest number?
yeah.
I guess 2 could be as bad as
As one.
One
But
because it's the loneliest
it's only
number.
number
Since
one.
the
Number
number
One burr.
I had one. It was Ben Iton. Kind of like Will I Am. It's a Ben Iton. Except
Ben
with
I-10.
B-
Okay.
T-O-N at the
I
end.
gotcha.
Okay. 866 Charles. Charles.
For the River Charles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's see what else. Raw Zero Dog.
That's already a number.
Now, here's
That's the raw
problem.
dog number.
Sure, Dan?
Here's the problem that we have with Brainstorm Wednesdays.
It's preceded by Brainstorm Tuesdays also.
It seems like Brainstem Wednesdays.
Right.
Like there's been a problem.
Yeah.
A little bit.
All right. Any more names?
We had, what was it?
866 chillin'.
Oh, no. I said that shouldn't get out of the
You're
room.
exponentially
That
worse.
one, I said that one and 866. Well, all right, well, let's try to read it. I'll say it as if you're telling people to call, so we see how excited people get. All right, give us a call, 866-MICKEYS, in honor of, there's Mickey Rourke, Mickey Rooney,
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mantle.
Yeah, but there's no Mickeys here. Like if those guys were doing a show.
If we were
Get
Mickey
that.
and Mickey,
Yeah.
sure.
We don't talk about them exclusively.
All
Or
right.
at all. I know we've never had a Mickey Rooney conversation.
No, but that would be great.
Well, Dan, you had the great point of trying to appeal to the ladies.
Oh, yes.
Because a lot of
8-6. Okay, yeah. So it's a lot of men who call, but you got females. They're over half the population. So you need a ladies line, second phone line, 866 jewelry. Women love jewelry, and
true.
so you
Again, I just feel like your jacuzzi. Someone owns this.
I know.
What about, okay,
nobody owns jewelry. I
You
mean,
know what? This is the weird thing.
it's out
It's not
there.
even an easy word to say.
All women own jewelry. Now, here's the thing. I know something in Dan's voice that gives me almost that Christopher Walken. And you're from Astoria.
I've heard that before.
But
yeah.
you're from his neighborhood.
I live there now. I'm not from. That was also odd that he said a story.
Oh yeah, because you're from Spanish Harlem.
It's true.
Wow, that was a fucked up intro you got. And it literally was the intro that I promised you, swore to you that you would not get. You sent me an email and you sat down and talked to me and said, "Look,
It's
very important.
We're moving ahead. We got great things.
Certainly with this jacuzzi idea.
Yeah,
That's
we're moving.
one of many. Gail.
Randy.
Gail."
Gail.
What about 866 Joe and Dan?
I like that.
I think that's too many digits.
It's just the N.
N.
Oh,
Just
the
N.
N.
Dan.
Yeah.
Well, if
pretty
you guys love too many digits,
We also
you'll
it
love
was-
my idea of 866 Ben Folds
Okay.
to honor Ben Folds.
I kept
Six.
having
Then
to
six.
explain to him there were 7. He kept giving 14 words.
Well, he's from Minnesota,
Right.
so his phone calls were like this. Clara, could you get me in touch with the drugstore? Thank you, honey.
There was no dialing. That's what he was telling me. He's not used to having
Yeah.
phones that you would dial a number.
He would just pick up a phone and a person would be there.
He said you went to the convenience store and Aunt B was there, and whoever you wanted to talk to, she would go bring out of the den.
See, here's the thing. This North Carolina, just for you, I know you live in New York,
Yeah.
couldn't be further away from Minnesota. But native New Yorkers see Jersey and woods that run all the way out to L.A. They don't know that it's a whole different country.
Well, I smell a sitcom with these two. They are the odd couple.
I do see it. Yeah. Wait a minute, are you on a hotline or a special line over there?
He's doing double duties in there.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
a jack of all trades.
I was.
this Joe.
A guest is here.
Now, what's the latest on Polo?
Polo is he still has to get a call in with some people with HR. He's he's throwing himself out there.
I thought Chris was calling me in here to tell me it was going to be Shelby. I thought it was going to be 2 Shelbys.
Well, that's a good point. I guess we should talk about Shelby.
Shelby didn't make the cut for Bennington. He ended up Bennington. I'm really trying not to fucking slur Bennington. Really trying.
It's a lot of consonants.
It is. So he ended up he left the Ron and Fez show and did not come on to Bennington.
Well, first of all, Stanley couldn't be worse at explaining something. Shelby decided to leave Sirius.
Right.
Was doing some stuff here for a while, but the day that we ended the Ron and Fez show, Shelby put in his notice. Actually, him and Chris basically had put in their notice. Only Stanley, for whatever reason, came back, but not really back. That's part of the fun. He's here, but is he?
But he chose it over the corporate world.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But Shelby, the last I talked to him, said he was going to spend some time on the road. He's a very, very funny kid. I'm a big, big fan of his. and he was going to go out, check out the road, and then make his next decision. But I'll back him up whatever he's doing next. I think he's really, really funny. He did have problems getting along in this team environment.
Sure.
And I think we all see Dan Perlman heading the same way. I mean, immediately, Dan Perlman couldn't be
just scratching and clawing.
Well, you're a single dude. You're working as single. You're out there by yourself in the stand-up
scene. Yeah.
And now that you're part of a team, you got to be best friends with Joey Jojo.
I could not be happier. He is a delight.
But then you also said, I don't answer to him. You're the boss,
Yeah,
which I thought was fucking great.
Good sign.
Yeah. But you two, or one of you, has put together a new song.
Yes, I have to give more credit to the Music Man.
Yeah.
For this one,
Which you guys can also call me too if you want.
I didn't know. Did you forget his name?
It's Joe.
Joe.
The man hey,
My best friend Joe.
I'm going to put it together for the guy that I start to call Stripes. There's just something about him. And this song is called what, Joe?
The hardest button to Bennington, in honor of Jack White Week.
It's another classic from Sweet Tunes.
Dan and Joe were living in an old house. Did a show a day and people checked it all out. They had a microphone and then the lights got blown. Couldn't afford the rent and got kicked out the studio. They went to New York, homeless without phones. They started walking to find a new radio show. It didn't last long when they found Sirius. Joe and Dan high-fived. Now they're on Bennington. Now we're a family and we're alright now. We got a Twitter page, you can follow us on handout. Is that Bennington Show? Don't forget it. And if you do, then Dan and Joe have something they can tell you. At Bennington Show. At Bennington Show. Tweet us at Bennington Show. Oh, it's at Bennington Show.
That's for Jack White Week.
Well, I just say this. If the only way I could have liked that song more is if it was longer. I mean, it had everything.
Now, if people don't smash that one, I know they have a
crazy.
problem.
They're crazy if they don't love that.
I understand I'm a positive person. I've been smashing all the songs, but that's crazy.
Yeah,
We'll
don't
cut-
say a trash one.
We'll cut the live version soon, so we can get more instrumental.
Yeah, did
some audience
Webster Hall,
reaction.
we're still on?
Yeah, you guys are doing Webster Hall.
Good. Just this one song?
It's an
Yeah, just one and done.
Well, what I love about your lyrics is that they make zero sense. And then there'll be a moment you're like, oh, okay, he's telling a story. No, he's not. This is madness.
Everyone's always lost in a ditch or wandering on a road. No one has any sense of purpose.
It's just constant mythology. This constant mythology.
I'd love a therapist to look at his lyrics and say, he's alone in the world.
We all swing into town through some arbitrary circumstance. Gail has a gun for some reason.
Yeah, she shot that guy.
Is
Microphone
carjacking
gun.
people.
It works both ways, microphone and gun.
I've never done this before with a song, but I think I want to hear it again so I can get it all down.
Oh, this
is and it's just called The Bennington Show.
The hardest button to Bennington.
Button. He even struggles with the word button.
What do you mean by button? I've been saying it.
I am new to your planet, so I guess you keep your shirt together with a button.
This explains so much.
Dan was like this. Hey, Joel's all right. I see you guys
he's a
joking.
cool guy.
You know, but he's an all right guy.
He's
my little
walking
brother.
here. Huh?
He's my little brother.
You know, he's all right. I'm singing in the. See, now you wanted to distance yourself from that. It's the first big hit
Not
we've
at
had
all.
for a while.
I didn't want to claim credit for the greatness.
Yeah, but why aren't you on it with him? Why aren't you singing backup?
Man, I should be.
You should be. Next one.
Oh yeah.
Next one you will.
Next one's gonna blow.
We're gonna do.
Your first one sucked. Second one is perfect, and the next one's definitely gonna blow.
No, 12 songs a day. That's our
Let's
goal.
listen to the hardest button to Bennington on Raw Dog.
Dan and Joe was living in an old house. Did a show a day and people checked it all out. They had a microphone and then the lights got blown. Couldn't afford the rent and got kicked out the studio. They went to New York, homeless without phones. They started walking to find a new radio show. It didn't last long when they found Sirius. Joe and Dan high-fived, now they're on Bennington. Now we're a family and we're alright now. We got a Twitter page, you can follow us on handout. It's that Bennington Show, don't forget it. And if you do, then Dan and Joe have something they can tell you. At Bennington Show. At Bennington Show. Tweet us at Bennington Show. Oh, it's at Bennington Show.
That also could be called This Song's a Lie, because it starts with these two guys living together, doing a show that is unsuccessful, then apparently doing another show that's unsuccessful, and then coming here with us and they're high-fiving.
Can I say this? What I love, many things I love about that show, well, that song. First, it's the story of us that didn't happen, that we knew each other before, swung into town, and by the end, it really becomes a song of the story about the Bennington Show Twitter page. There's about 9 references. Tweet us at Bennington Show.
Tweet us.
You can tweet
Bennington
us.
Show.
White House.
Oh, I forgot
Tweet
to
us
mention
at
the
Bennington Show.
Instagram. Well,
It serves a lot of purpose.
Do you have an Instagram?
Now, Joe, we just got it the other day just for the red noses. Now, Joe, you were working on the Catholic channel.
Correct.
Is that still happening? What's going on?
Today is actually my last day there.
Joe and I were discussing. We were trying to give suggestions for. He gets to give a final sign off. So what should he say to say goodbye to the Catholics?
I was thinking take it sleazy.
That's good. That's seriously good. How about just a quick smell you later?
Smell you later, Catholics. Some Protestants.
We're thinking tits and Muslims.
See, I don't
come
like
on.
That's,
No, bad.
Father's
and
not
Jews?
like that.
No, worse.
There's only one religion, Catholic. It's the only religion there is.
So tonight you receive your last blessing.
Yeah.
Try to play that song before you leave. There's a lot of things I want to say. I should probably say it through this song.
Tweet us at Bennington Show.
And you can tweet us. You go to Twitter page.
Man, I love the image of us high-fiving. That's such 80s sitcom. It would freeze frame.
Yeah.
I guess they're going to be okay.
Now we're a family and we're all right now. That's all that matters.
Now we're a family. So, no, Sally, I don't want to be putting pressure on you.
Yes.
Who's teacher's pet? Who do you like more right now?
Right now, Joe with that song is Teacher's Pet.
Teacher's
Oh,
pet.
right.
Okay, yeah.
I want to be teacher's pet.
I also bring you an apple every day, and you never say anything about that. You're always like, give me a burrito or a
right.
cheeseburger.
Like, where the burrito at?
So, Joe, Don Wiki Wicklin, says, tell Joe to be careful. I may just take him to Nashville. Love the song.
Oh.
You could be making it in this business. I'm talking about the business of show.
I could do that.
Kid, you have got it.
Yeah.
I think of myself more as someone who transcends boundaries, you know?
Look, let me tell you something. In your left hand, you have the rock. Your right hand, the roll. If we can find a way to put them together, to
In a
bring
sweet Minnesota style.
Well, you know who else is from Minnesota?
Who's that?
Little motherfucker run by the name of Bob Dylan. Another son of a bitch calling himself Prince. And if they can't make it, I got the replacements. And now, Joey Jojo.
I'm surprised that I'm fourth on that list. There's no one else.
You think you should
Well,
be
I was
higher?
going to say AP until he beat that kid.
Oh, yeah. R.I.P. AP.
Joe could start to sell himself as the kid that Adrian Peterson smacked with a fucking stick.
Do that and carry around a stick and say, this is the stick that slapped me around.
Yeah.
You see? I need punishment. Except not. Case at all.
All I don't know what.
Pretty soon you can give us a call at 866-MIXABLE, because we mix it up in here all the time. And then, how about 866-FIXABLE? We have to fix a lot of the mixing up we did.
Okay.
I like 866 WNBA forever. Appeals to the ladies.
That's the one I want.
I was partial to 866 Charles.
Yeah.
Just because.
Just Charles.
And we are Charles. That's why we call ourselves Charles. And you can tweet us.
Charles was walking around, couldn't find a home.
Did something happen to you as a child that you
were
felt?
a wanderer?
Yeah.
No, actually, I had a really stable upbringing.
But he had a poster on his wall of Johnny Appleseed. Just a guy who was just going around
he still does.
the country.
You're quite nomadic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What's that, Chris?
We should probably break.
What is that?
We have a guest.
Who do we have?
Rebecca Trent from The Creek in the Cave.
Nice. Rebecca's going to be here. So, full staff we have in here now.
Yep.
And then we're just seeing whether we can get Paul Owen as well.
That's the last piece. It's still in the works.
The last Bennington.
He's going to stay with his own last name.
Or at least O. Bennington, maybe?
No. I don't want any tie-in financial any other way.
Yeah, he's, that's the last.
That's a nice Irish name, O'Bennington.
Diane wants to know, do you have a new email address too? Well, Diane, we do, and that's BenningtonShow@gmail. And I was really disappointed that it didn't make that song.
Joe.
He had to plug the Twitter handle for the ninth time.
Right now,
Tweet
we're
us on
focusing
Twitter.
So that's BenningtonShow@gmail. You could be the first person to ever email us.
That's
there.
exciting.
It's not really, but
Gmail's the shit.
Oh yeah,
No.
Everyone's gonna love it.
All right, we'll be right back. It is the Bennington Show.
This is Bennington. Raw Dog Comedy Hits. Sirius XM 99.
Well, then you tell me, Stanley. Tell me why Tito's handmade vodka is America's original craft vodka. You had no idea. I'll tell you this. In 1995, Tito Beverage. And remember, when he was a kid, people used to tease him about there, like, Tito Beverage, what are you, something to drink? Well, maybe he isn't something to drink. And maybe you kids can taunt and yell as you want. But he will grow up to make a beverage, his own micro distillery. He will incorporate the boutique winery concept into the spirits industry. And by the way, you know what it is when you do something like that? That's genius. This is what brilliant thinking outside of the box, bringing in a whole new world type of people do. They take things that are done one way, and then they put them in another place and make it happen. And that's what Tito was able to pull off. He acquired the first legal permit to distill in Texas and put his life's savings into it. Not just his life savings. He racked up 19 credit cards to build his copper pot stills and condensers. And you know what the kids used to say to him? Tito, you're crazy. This ain't never going to work. Tito believed in himself, and he believed in his vodka. And guess what? Since then, he's been awarded a 95 rating by Wine Enthusiast. Won unanimous judges' choice double gold medal at the World Spirits Competition and the Chairman's Trophy for the world's best vodka tonic, and many others. Ladies and gentlemen, this is like winning the Oscars, the Pulitzer Prize, and the Super Bowl all in the same year. There's never been a person like that in sports, but there has been a person like that in vodka. And that's Tito Beverage, the man I'm sitting here trying to tell you about. The man I'm hoping is going to be the next president of the United States of America. Jeb Bush, no vodka. Hillary Clinton, no vodka. Rand Paul, a little bit of vodka, but it's awful. Quite frankly, it's not even drinkable. And I said that to Rand. I said, I don't know whether you're going to win president or not, but Tito has my vote where it really counts. But I'm going to have to pick up a vodka. You know what? It's a modest paper label on a simple bottle. All you pay for, is the exceptional handmade vodka inside. Tito still makes his vodka by hand on the same land where he started it all, in Austin, Texas. Tito's handmade vodka is distilled 6 times from 0% corn, 100% corn, and then 0% gluten. It's gluten-free. Visit at titosvodka.com for recipes, songs, and more. Handcrafted to be savored responsibly. Yes, it's Tito's Innovators of Comedy, Innovators of Entertainment. We're starting this off talking to some of the people who make comedy what it is today. And we wanted to start it with what we think is the hippest person doing comedy in New York City right now, Rebecca Trent. Now, Rebecca, of the Creek and the Cave, there is one way to do comedy, and that is pack as many people as you can, candle on each table,
Yes.
and an MC, 3 comics. Good night, everyone. Tip your waitresses.
That's right.
And then we flip the room. That's it. That's all we know.
Well, I feel like I've been taken advantage of by many a construct like that in a comedy show. I like the idea of being able to go out and see a comedy show without it costing $75 for a bunch of people that I don't recognize. You know what I mean? But I also like the idea of I like the idea of it being more of an artist-forward experience. I don't know, like, you guys know Judah Friedlander, right?
Sure,
So
love
he,
him.
he started that Kill the Check Spot protest a few years back. I think that that's a very good step in the right direction. I think that we shouldn't have check spots.
I explained that to the folks at home that aren't familiar with that lingo.
Check spots are the saddest moment of the night at a comedy club. It's the moment where a nervous young man or woman who has just finally begged and clawed and gotten their moment, their big break, and what they get to do is they get to go up on stage and hobble through a 5 to 7 minute set that they've been working on for years, while a waitress loudly drops in front of a bunch of Long Islanders a bill that they don't want to have to pay, and then they argue over how many buckets of Bud Light they had, and and then that's their big moment to shine, and it's so mean. I hate them so much.
It is, and the reason why it even happened that way is headliners, of course. No matter how well you're doing, when that moment hits, it's an awkward moment.
It's incredibly awkward and distracting, and it's distracting for the 5 tables around that table, and nobody enjoys it except, I guess, the people ringing the credit cards.
But you used a term here that never was used with comedy before, and that's art. You see it as an art form.
Well, I do. I mean, it's the most important art. I believe that stand-up comedy is the most relevant art form on the planet. I think that hats off to sculptors. I have a lot of great things to say about dancers. I'm not trying to besmirch any other art form, but we are the ones, this art is what is the rapid response, is what has something to say about what's going on right now today.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's something that I get to enjoy on a regular basis. It takes a while to write a song, but sometimes you can just go say something about something horrific that happened and make it funny that night.
It is true, and it can, for me, change my mind about things much faster than the news or some talking head trying to put
Me too. Right. A funny
incredibly
person says
powerful.
something that is smart to you. It like hits you so fast. I
Right.
think so, because you have a visceral response.
Right.
You're like, that's funny, so it must have truth in there somewhere. You know.
Or there's also something great, I think, that I can't even believe. I call it the Patrice O'Neill effect, where I disagree 100% with what he's saying, and yet still find it to be very, very funny.
Right. Louis J. Gomez and I were literally talking about this last night, right before I almost fought a cab driver. And I was saying that one of the best jokes about Nick DiPaolo's sets are always that I'm still laughing even though I'm offended.
Right.
Patrice O'Neill was the same way. I'm still laughing. I can't stop laughing, but my God, he's hurting my feelings. It's incredible.
Nick DiPaolo is amazing because he really is like a sweet, sensitive guy. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, gorgeous
He
human being.
really is a terrific guy. And then you'll go, well, you're kind of right wing. He goes, where does that even come from? I hear that from people. Like he legitimately doesn't understand. What are you trying to put me in a box? I don't know what you mean by that.
He doesn't like labels. Leave him alone.
Yeah, but it's so funny. So to laugh at it, it's got to mean that there is some things there for you to rethink, that you can't even put everything that you disagree with, even some of the stuff that seems like a slam dunk to you, you still have to keep an open mind about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I like that I have a space that allows people to come in and say whatever it is they want to say.
Well, you do it.
You don't even have to wear clothes when you do it.
Yeah, you do it very, very differently. And as I said, the regular concept of stand-up comedy probably got set up here in the early 70s by a couple of different clubs. At the time, it was amazingly radical, right?
Yeah.
It was radical. Bud Freeman probably had a meeting with everyone. Do we put a comic after a comic? You know what I mean? That wasn't
Right.
being done. There's a scene in one of the Woody Allen movies, is probably Annie Hall, where he's like, a comic never goes up after a comic, goes up after a singer.
Right.
People will be laughed out. There's only so much laughing. So that was like a radical concept. But then America just stayed with that for 40 years. For 40 years, stand-up just got done the same way.
Well, it was the fastest way to get the most bang for its buck. It wasn't. It wasn't started by people who love the art form or by folks who were even used to be's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was businessmen. It was people who were there to turn a buck. So I mean, you've all heard all the stories of like the half of the comedy clubs went up the comedy club owners' noses in the 80s.
Sure.
So it was a very different focus back then, and I don't think that the clubs that I have a good time at the most are ones that still treat them like that. It can't be just churning people out, and you have to have new talent, and you just have to be there for the comedians. It's not really for the audience. The audience learns along with the comics. Like, I feel like our space is a dojo for comedians in the same way that it is for audience members. We get a lot of idiots that don't know how to sit and listen. We don't learn how to do that anymore. So we're teaching both sides really at the same time, sometimes violently, but hopefully not always.
So the customer is not always right at Creek and Cave.
Yeah, the customer is definitely not always right. And definitely John Leguizamo did 4 shows at the Creek a couple weeks back, and he charged $15. Now, normally it would cost $100+ to see John Leguizamo perform, and you'd be seeing him from 400 feet away. This was an intimate theater that seats 70 people, and people were incensed that I was charging for him, and the money went to him. It was really a split, but it was really interesting to me how shocked people were that, people are supposed to make a living at this. It was like, It was insane to me. But I mean, they learned.
But do they get the fact that they're seeing a guy that did this back in the 1970s and has done movies and one-man plays and has been awarded throughout his life?
And is on HBO and has multiple books out. And he has an incredible IMDb page. I think for the most part, people get it. Certainly people in New York City, I think, tend to sort of know what a special thing it is to be able to be in the presence of like that kind of a celebrity, I guess. But yeah, there was still I didn't turn anybody away, but there was a certain number of people where I was like, just come wait by the door and I'll let you in. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, I could tell they really wanted to see John. And I also think that Leguizamo is such a icon to so many people in particular that people desperately had to see the show.
Right.
So I was getting people somehow were finding my phone number and stuff like that, and calling me and really but it was exciting. I was glad to see so many people excited to see him too.
I had him up here doing a couple things before, and I never saw a time that our staff, like the cops, the ex-cops that work here, were freaked out.
Really?
I'm like, House of Buggin', they're bringing out. I go, I didn't know it was so massive, but black people and Spanish people loved House of Buggin'.
Yep.
You can't touch it.
It was a big deal.
But John is, when you go back to that art form thing, John has alienated his family a large part of his family, and how far he'll take his honesty.
Well, he puts a lot of himself up on stage. I think that has a lot to do with why he's so successful too, though.
but will also talk about who was a prick to him in Hollywood, and all this shit that you shouldn't say if you want to keep playing the game properly.
And yet Andy Kindler still exists, right?
Yeah, and like,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like there's some of them. I feel like we've identified certain people that can get away with it. I think John's okay to say whatever he wants to.
But Andy doesn't do movies anymore, does he? No, he does stuff.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I think. Yeah.
So who would you say is the perfect Creek in the Cave comic? Who's somebody
The
that
perfect Creek in
Yeah,
the
like
Cave
you're like if you had if HBO was coming in and they were going to shoot 30 seconds, who would you want on stage and the audience reacting to?
Oh my
That
God.
represents you.
Nick Vatterott, Nick Turner, Ted Alexandro, and Jeffrey Joseph would be my
so
top
you have
four.
that's your number one. Is all four of those guys. You got Ted working there tonight. Right?
A lot of them are living in LA today, right now, so I didn't name any of those. That's the asterisk I'm putting on there.
Ted Alexandro's.
Yeah, he's doing his week at the Creek this week, which I'm really excited about. Saturday's going to be $5. All the rest of them are free. And he's mostly talking about how he doesn't understand why people think of him as an activist.
Again, that's
Isn't that
hysterical.
interesting? Right?
Because I called up one time. I was following his Twitter, and I'm like, holy shit, he's down here, he's down there. I go, tell him he could come in and talk about this tomorrow. He's like, no, it's not the kind of stuff I want to promote.
But he was protesting, or
Yeah, he was protesting, and there's pictures, and he's marching, and I'm following Twitter. I'm going, this is amazing.
Right.
Let's get him to come in and talk to the audience. He's like, no, that's really something I want to separate. Twitter is right there.
Yeah.
Well, plus he's doing all the work with Occupy Astoria and Occupy Long Island City, and he started a community center in Astoria, on the border of Astoria and LIC. And and he does a million other things too. He marches for mental illness and not just sort of whatever the current hashtag is. There's a lot of stuff that he was talking about it day before yesterday on stage, and he was saying, like, people ask me, like, how do I have the time? And I'm like, it's 3 hours on a Saturday. Everybody calm down.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's trying to make it sound like no big deal, but last year, Ted Alexandro was our keynote speaker, and I had bracelets made that say WWTAD, what would Ted Alexandro do?
Mm-hmm.
And passed them out to everybody. He's our comedy genius. Or Jesus, I meant to say.
Yeah, and genius, though. He really
Yeah,
is
that
brilliant.
too.
But he was that guy before he was a stand-up guy, right? I mean, he was teaching and involved in the community.
He was absolutely a teacher. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I only knew him from the Post and the TV show Teacher's Lounge, the web series that he made.
Yeah.
Gail, you like to go out and protest, right?
Sure.
What was your last big one?
Oh, I can't remember what the last big one was. I don't know.
You like to
I feel
hit the streets, though?
I do.
Whose
Hit the
streets?
Our streets.
Whose streets?
Ours.
My parents still call me and they'll be like, I'm watching this on TV. I hope your kids aren't there. I go, they're somewhere around there. They got it. Why wouldn't you show up no matter what was happening?
Yeah, why not?
Why wouldn't you be out there? I like whenever they take Times Square.
Yeah.
That's my favorite because
no one wants it.
No one, no
Wide open
one
for
wants
us.
any part of it.
Ripe for the picking.
And there's always someone from Iowa who feels like, how did I show up in the middle of this?
It's weird, though, to find out, like, I think because Twitter, it opens up so many things where you find out causes that people care about or celebrities. It's pretty weird,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? Like, suddenly what used to be very private is public when it comes to your politics and things that you're passionate about.
Everything is now. I think they need to put cameras like right in the voting booth so you can watch it. Really? That's who you're voting for.
I never expected my neighbor to vote that way.
I don't know why we got ever into private voting. I think we should have to raise our hands.
I think. And
Yeah.
being able to not be shot for what you believe in, I think.
I don't know. Everything else is out there. Everybody's sexuality is being tweeted out.
Sure.
Do you ever go to there's a dating site called it's WDW, and it's Who's Dated Who. So a lot of times when we have guests here, particularly female guests, we'll look it over so I don't bring up a name that will piss them off because it's happened before. And I'd be like, oh, you were on tour with blah, blah, blah. And you just see everything change.
Why'd I say that? Or bring up somebody as though they're still together. You think that they're still together? Like, oh, how is that person?
Right.
Why'd you say that?
But it's funny when you bring up work and they have a personal thing and
Yeah.
they forget that the movie or whatever is still good.
Right.
You know, it's your
Right.
relationship went bad. By the way, most of the time it's the guy from the Counting Crows. That's who it is.
Is that right?
Yeah, Adam from the Counting Crows.
He's dated everyone.
Everybody.
I did not know that.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, he's dated you.
No.
I forgot.
Would
I
you-
totally forgot that.
I go to his Who Dated Who. Chris, as fast as you can, read off his dating.
All right, Lara Flynn Boyle, Winona Ryder, Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Mary Louise Parker, Samantha Mathis, Trishella Cantella, Whitney Carey, Emmy Rossum is the most recent.
That is
Whoa.
unbelievable.
Star-studded.
Great roster.
Yeah.
You should
Yeah, it
become a
is.
manager.
It is. And Emmy is way, you know what I mean? Like, they all stay about the same age.
It's got a type.
Yeah, he does have a type. And they're called New to Hollywood. That's his type.
I'm going to make you a big star.
Fresh off the bus. But that is the, well, you know, like we're talking about with stand-ups. Stand-ups always had girlfriends in different towns. Normally,
Yes, I don't know why you said past tense, but yes.
because
They
now
did
everyone can find
do.
out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to be savvier about it.
Yeah.
For
So,
sure.
guys,
I always get really suspect when somebody kills their Facebook page. I'm like, all right, who you
What
fucking-
happened? Who found what?
But you could be in true relationships in at least 3 or 4 different towns.
Right.
Before.
I mean, but it's got to be incredibly hard to spend most of your time Thursday to Sunday on the road. You come home
Brutal.
to do like three gigs until Wednesday, and then you get back on a plane. Like, I get it. You'd have to have some road pieces.
Road pieces. That's we ought to open that up as like a little recipe book. But you know, Louis just did that a thing the other night where he's just in Cincinnati and he's in in one of those like old motels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not even like a Ramada or something. And he just is standing there and he's like, no, I can't do it. And when you're young, that's the greatest, to check into that thing would be fantastic.
Right.
Independent motel.
Yeah.
But knowing that you're walking in there and the pain that can cause.
Right, a young comic is just like, I'm living the dream.
It's
Look at me, Mom.
quickly the dream dies.
Yeah, the young comic is at the pool first thing in the morning.
Exactly. Gonna check out all the amenities.
Yeah.
Get my Continental.
Yeah, they got everything down there. There's coffee, donut.
Like bed's made.
So the Creek and the Cave. Now, do you feel like this is the future of where comedy's going? The kind of shows that you guys are doing.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that, and sometimes I think that I've ruined my life and that I should fly to Mexico and never come back.
Right.
So, it goes back and forth. I'm a small business owner in New York City. Like, it's not easy. The government doesn't make it easy. The way that the neighborhood is laid out doesn't make it easy. It's been an uphill battle, but we were the first comedy club in Queens, and we are the first one in New York City to not charge a cover or drink minimum. And I think that we're seeing that more and more. It's mostly bar shows. It's mostly Brooklyn bar shows and stuff like that that's doing like good free shows. But there is a lot out there, and it seems like, you don't have to pay $50 to go see some good comedy these days.
I just find what you're doing to be fascinating, and I find what's happening in comedy. I think it's time to even change more and more stuff. I saw, the fact that everybody has these specials coming out and how quickly they come and go when they used to be so much more precious.
Right.
If you look back, even, Dennis Miller's special would be a big thing to be discussed. Probably Chris Rock was the last of that, you're a giant star the next day. So we got to figure out different ways to do this or different ways to get people to pay attention.
Well, and everything's so different now. There is no television for all intents and purposes. So people are clamoring to figure out how to make money in this business, not just comedians. People are clamoring all over trying to figure it out. And it makes me really nervous. I worry like that we're in this period of like incredible saturation. There's so many different venues popping up. There's so many different shows popping up. There's so many more, physically just more comedians than there ever were before. Also, in a lot of ways, things to celebrate. There's many more women than there ever were before. There's many more people of color at open mics than there ever were before. So I feel like so those numbers are getting better, but in a way they're also getting worse because there's so many more of everybody, and everybody's dying for stage time, and everybody's trying, and everybody's, this is one of the most stressful weeks in the comedy world, especially for the newbies anyway, because these are the callbacks for the Just for Laughs Montreal Festival this week, and people are clamoring for stage time, and I've never had so many people ask me could they get an audition before this year, and I've been adjacent to the Montreal Festival since 2010, and it's incredible how much it's increasing. I think that there aren't a lot of jobs out there anyway, in comedy, and people are just dying to find them wherever they can.
Well, it's so strange because every industry is changing because of the computer. Like I get to meet all kinds of people. People from the newspaper industry are like, this is nuts. They expect us to do it for free. Rock stars, guys that you guys know, came in and say, all my money that these songs earn me every year are gone because people demand them for free. I'm talking to people that lost $90 million that they thought they had sitting there. It's true of TV, every industry, all because of this goddamn thing and this phone, and no one's figured out how to do the content yet.
But doesn't it seem like at some point the wave will break with the internet, and there's got to have to be some sort of backlash? Like you're talking, and I'm thinking there's got to be backlash where people are going to crave things like live performance and like reconnecting with people. It just seems
half of the pitches I get these days are about people trying to incorporate live streaming. It's incredible how much they are trying to take away the reverence for live performances. It kills me. And so far we haven't allowed it at the Creek because it's problematic. I want the space to be a place where a comic can write on their feet and say something horrifying that's not going to be out there forever. But I mean, the permanency of everything that goes on the internet is something that I think that creative artists should not be subject to until they are ready to display their product. And I have on a very regular basis gone and like guys that are a foot taller than me and got 100 pounds on me, I'll snatch a phone out of their hands as quick as I can. There's just no reason for it. It's stealing. You can't do that, I'm assuming that somebody has to sign a piece of paper saying that their music can go on Spotify, but nobody told that asshole he could record Ted's Hour 2 days ago. You know what I mean? And there was an instance at Whiplash a few months back where Chris Rock dropped in, which was exciting. Everybody's so excited to see him, obviously. And there was some kid in the front row. He asked respectfully for everyone to put their phones away. The kid in the front row didn't. He started having a back and forth with the kid. The kid still refused to put his phone away, so he told one joke, housed the microphone, and walked out. And that was the end of his set. And that's all Chris could give them, because otherwise, you're going to have a writing session up on the internet for eternity. And it's not fair. There's a new company called Yodr, YODR, that rents out to venues. I'm in the process of purchasing them now, but rents out cell phone sleeves that magnetically lock, and you can't open them until you're out of the room. And you can answer your phone, but you have to leave the room to answer your phone. So it keeps you from being able to use your phone. They started it, I think Hannibal Buress did a show at Napa Valley with it a couple months ago that Sean McCarthy wrote about on Comics Comic. That's what turned me on to it. But those kind of technical innovations are going to have to be what helps the artist continue to maintain the sanctity of that live performance. They're going to have things like tech sleeves or like Caroline's, where you just can't really, the phone just doesn't work down there. Just find a basement and get in there.
Really helpful. You could go down there and go like, I hope everything's okay up there above us.
Armageddon, and we wouldn't know.
Doing shows from bunkers is the only way.
But
it's not a bad idea.
People, they have been trained by this phone, right? So I met an AA meeting the other night, and this girl has this incredible fucking story. Believe me, her story was nuts. It It was frightening. It was funny. And this is a regular person telling this thing that is so raw. And I look around and people are just checking their stuff. They can't stay in that moment when we're talking about a crash and burn.
Right.
You know what I mean? That no one's ever as honest as they are in these meetings. So I'm like, what fucking text are you getting that's better than this story right now?
There's no way.
Yeah. But you just feel like, I just better.
I'm very important. I have to check in.
Oh no, my friend's cat's sick. I better call. I better call #worry. I think people will put, like they want everyone else. They'll be stuck like, I'm going through a lot right now because my friend's mom passed away. Oh. You're going through a lot. You're the fucking one I should run to.
Too much almost.
Yeah.
# not blessed.
Not blessed.
I'm going to Periscope the wake.
Periscope is the newest nightmare.
It's the newest thing.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, I just got my first Periscope pitch. Somebody wants to do a Periscope show and have them like live respond via Periscope to the comics on stage, because that's not going to be distracting at all.
No.
It's interesting. I mean, it's really interesting. The first time I saw it was at, I think it was Cape Fear Comedy Festival, that one of the headliners was walking around periscoping. But, yeah, I mean, it's terrifying. It's never gonna, but you're right. We do have to get on the wave of it and figure out how to make it work for us, because a lot of these platforms don't really exist for comedy. They are getting plugged into the comedy world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're really more invented for rock stars and that ilk.
But see, the thing is, to do real comedy, like what Ted is doing this week, you're just scraping it and scraping. And talk about being a sculptor. This thing has to just be worked at and worked at. You don't want it out there before it's ready, before it's done. But also, don't put it on the same platform where a guy's getting kicked in the balls.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the other thing that frustrates you. Like, this is a totally different thing. You're like, oh, you know who's funny? This kid who throws himself out a window. No, that isn't funny. That's mad.
And now he has to be a stand-up comedian, and I've got to give him stage time because his manager called me, and he's never seen him do stand-up, and he wants him to have an audition for Just for Laughs, because that's how people make money in this business. It's crazy.
Going on the road with it is because you can't. Your YouTube stars now.
Right.
I've got to find a way to get out there.
And so they make the YouTube stars come up with a tight 5, and you end up watching some poor girl dry hump a bar stool for no reason for 3 minutes, and that's going to be her set for the next couple years, and then eventually, I mean, there's a learning curve with all of it. You can figure it out. It's not like, it's literally not rocket science, but it can be kind of a bummer when they're trying to stick a square peg into a round hole.
It's
comedically.
Yeah, but. And, people always say cream rises to the top. I don't know.
That's not always the case.
I don't think that's I don't know whether it's ever
Sometimes
the case.
It's somebody's uncle that rises to the top. It's because somebody's got an uncle or whatever,
Right.
Especially in this business, every once in a while, there's always a reason why somebody got where they got. Right. So, like, when I'm stepping back going, how the hell did this person? There's usually a thing going on.
Even the sitcom itself, all right, I'll give you this. Drives me crazy. So Letterman is ending up, and he's got Ray Romano on his show, and they talk about Everyone Loves Raymond, and everybody's in tears. And he goes, then the next guy I bring out is going to be Brian Regan. Brian Regan has done that show 28 times. He's pure comedy.
Right.
He had to win that audience. When Brian Regan is introduced, they don't know him.
They don't know him.
The people who know him love him. They put him on a pedestal.
Yeah.
But outside of that world, he's not. And he had to go out, win that crowd. And then they were like, this guy is great. What's his name again? Oh, you mean the guy who's been doing it for 30 fucking years? Every night.
Everyone in this room looks up to him.
Yeah.
He's a legend that nobody knows about. That's what comedy does. It creates legends that nobody knows.
But put him in front of a camera and have him lie and call 2 kids his children and try to hide a sandwich from his wife, and then people would show up for that show forever. That's what drives you crazy.
I know you from TV.
Yeah, you were on that box. Oh, that was good.
But it's not going to be that anymore. It's going to be, I know you from that Vine, or I know you from that YouTube clip, or I know
imagine that.
It's going to be like next level. Like I saw a guy in Brooklyn get recognized, and he's a YouTube guy. He does one of my favorite YouTube videos called Sad Cat Diary. And I think his name's LaFranc. And I saw him get recognized, and it was the most shocking thing that I'd ever seen. It's like Julianne Moore, sure, recognize her, but this guy's got a tiny thumbnail profile pic next to a sad cat, and you recognize this guy. It's incredible.
Well, we love you, Rebecca. Rebecca Trent's here. The Creek and the Cave, located in Long Island City, New York, which again is one of those things 7 years ago nobody went to.
That's right.
Today
it's one stop from Grand Central.
Yeah.
It's not in Long Island, I promise.
It's the hot neighborhood. The Creek is open 7 days a week, offers 150 plus live events a month, and Ted Alexandro is performing there tonight, and he's absolutely terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And do come out to the Lady Parts Justice Carnival on the 14th of June if you get a chance. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're throwing a big carnival for Lady Parts Justice, which is a nonprofit organization that does rapid response to reproductive rights in America. Mm-hmm. And we've got Frank Conniff and Ted Alexandro, and I'm blanking on all the names, but there's like 80 star-studded people that are going to be carny folk that are going to be walking around the creek, like teaching us how to bob for apples, and we're going to dunk them and stuff like that.
That's really fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you the next time that you're back in here.
Awesome. Bye.
The Tito's Innovators of Entertainment segment is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka, distilled 6 times from 100% corn and naturally gluten-free. Come visit us at titosvodka.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974.